consecutive playoff berth, thanks chiefly to the tough play of their defense. Giants defense that has battered and intimidated opponents all season long. But these men haven't had to do it all by themselves. This year has featured an exciting and effective passing game, which has given the Giants quick strike capability. To that, a running game that combines young, enthusiastic backs with stylish veterans. The Giants have assembled the ingredients that could take them a long way. The Houston Oilers last made the playoffs 5 years ago. Their big star was Earl Campbell. Now head coach Hugh Campbell has quarterback Warren Moon back in action. And Moon will look for ex-Giant Butch Wilfolk and Heisman Trophy winner Mike Rozier. It may be the holiday season, but don't expect any generosity from the New York Giants. Have never played the Houston Oilers here in the regular season, but they do today, and they have some good news going in because Cincinnati is thrashing Dallas to the tune of 50-17, and that means a Giant victory today will put them back into a first-place tie with the Cowboys in the NFC Eastern Division. And hello again, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton, and welcome to the NFL on CBS. A big change by Bill Parcells. Some people thought it was going to happen anyway. Mark Haynes, the all-pro cornerback who signed 7 weeks ago, is finally going to start at left cornerback. Elvis Patterson has played well, but Bill Parcells says that Haynes is going to get the starting nod because he has the most experience. My partner is Wayne Walker, and what would you say is the overall concern for the Giants against the Oilers today?
Well, I know what Bill Parcells said they were. He's worried about Warren Moon and his mobility back in the pocket after things break down so he can improvise. Now, he's not quite as nifty as Joe Montana back there, but he's on the very next page. He's also concerned about Drew Hill, the wide receiver. When he was with the Los Angeles Rams, he was just one of 4 guys that could get deep. But with the Houston Oilers, he is the deep threat. And he also said about this game today, if my guys don't know the importance of it, they are in the wrong business. So let's get it started and see if they do. Dick?
All right, Wayne, and the Giants have won the toss, and Tony Zendejas will be kicking off for the Houston Oilers. Make that Lee Johnson getting the kickoff nod. Zendejas had been kicking off, but Johnson, the left-footed kicker, is going to Kenny Hill, George Adams, and Tony Galbraith, and it's Hill in the end zone for the touchback, and the Giants will take over 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line. Byron Williams continues to start for the injured Lionel Manuel at wide receiver.
And he's underused, they say. They want to get him the ball more, Byron Williams.
The offensive line, and it's been a good one all season long.
They're playing as a group right now as well as any in the league.
Mark Bavaro continues to do the job, particularly in the blocking department for the injured Zeke Mowatt. 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. In motion goes Maurice Parker, and Joe Morris carries and brings it out beyond the 25-yard line, where Frank Bush makes the tackle for the Astros, for the Oilers at the 26-yard line. Ray Childress, who was the 3rd player picked in the draft, 3-man front.
And Jesse Baker over on the right side, their sack specialist.
Lyles, Riley, Abraham, and the rookie Bush, who made the tackle at linebacker. And the secondary. Bo Eason leads the team in tackles. 2nd down and 4 at the 26. Sims in trouble. Loses the ball. And they claim that he was down before he lost the ball. It will not be a fumble. But the Oilers got to Phil Sims. And now it looks like they may bring it back to the line of scrimmage.
Good coverage downfield now, and Sims, as he will do, stands in there and holds it, looking for something to come open. Nothing does, and then it just breaks down on him, and that was Baker. Jesse Baker that we told you about on the hit.
So Phil Sims, fortunately, got rid of that ball just as he got hit. It is an incompleted pass, 3rd down and 4 at the 26, into the shotgun now. Sims up the middle, and it's caught. Good for a 1st down. George Adams, the rookie from Kentucky, out of the backfield, and the Giants have a 1st and 10 at the 32.
Houston defense will just blitz you crazy sometimes. That time they just sent 1 extra man, so they had 4 men rushing. It was picked up well by the Giants, and he had plenty of time to get it to Adams.
Adams, the very fine-looking rookie from Kentucky, bigger and stronger, and someday maybe headed for the fullback position. Right now playing behind Joe Morris. 1st and 10 at the 33, and here is Morris, who's hit hard by Bush. Bounces off of the Oiler defender and brings it out to the 37-yard line. Joe Morris with 14 touchdowns rushing, a season record for the Giants.
Frank Bush is the right linebacker over here. Now the lead back come in and miss the block on him. He'll make the hit right here. Here we go. There's Bush across. The lead block is missed. Morris breaks that tackle.
Out of the backfield is Carthen, and Carthen has a first down into Oiler territory. Robert Abraham makes the tackle on Maurice Carthen, and the Giants, moving the ball, have a 1st and 10 in Oiler territory at the 46. A gain of 17 yards for the Giants.
Dick, it's a no-huddle offense right here now for the Giants. What Cincinnati did to Houston last week, it's a young defense. They need time in between plays. The Giants are not going to give it to them.
Morris gets a hold. Carthen sets the block, and Joe Morris has a first down before he is brought down by Bo Eason, the free safety. And the Giants are moving the ball, and Bill Parcells thought he could run effectively against the Oilers.
Now, we pointed out before where Carthon missed the block. Over now, watch his lead block this time. He makes it. That gets Morris outside. Number 44 on the cut right there. Gets the defensive end down, and there's your yardage.
And now Phil Simms coming to the sideline, and we have a shaken up Oiler at the line of scrimmage. We have an official's timeout. Oilers coming in with a record of 5-8 as Phil Simms talks things over with Bill Parcells. Mike Stensrud, the nose tackle, is the shaken up Houston player.
I think we mentioned that quick offense, the no-huddle offense that the Giants are using. They're using it because in that secondary of the Houston Oilers, only 2 players have 3 years experience. The other are 2, so they are extremely young.
Stensrud on the sidelines, and Brian Sochet, number 72, who's quick but undersized at 254 pounds, replaces him. 1st and 10 for the Giants on the Oiler 34-yard line. Opening minutes, the Giants have had the ball since the start. Joe Morris. And Morris gets inside the 30-yard line. Robert Abraham and Keith Bostic makes the tackle on Joe Morris, who's red hot, coming off a 131-yard effort against the Browns last week.
That's the pull right here by Chris Godfrey, number 61. He gets out and gets the outside linebacker, number 53, Avon Riley. That was the key block on that run.
2nd down and 4 at the 28. Morris again. And penalty markers fly as Morris gets to the 24-yard line, close to a first down. Referee today is Bob McElwee, and the penalty will be against the Giants. Ray Childress and Frank Bush combined to make the stop on Morris, who's been busy so far with 5 carries.
I'm kind of surprised as we look at Coach Parcells there about this Houston defense. You know, they're coached by Jerry Glanville.
McElwee's mic apparently is not working. It is a holding penalty against the Giants.
As I said, that they're coached by Jerry Glanville, who originated the Grits Blitz down in Atlanta, and they blitz a lot. They've been pretty basic. In fact, Bill Parcells said they charted them, and they ran 52 all-out blitzes in their last 3 games. All-out blitzes meaning at least 2 linebackers coming at the same time. But we haven't seen that yet.
Parcells knows that the Giants control their own destiny. If they win their remaining 3 games, they are division champions. 2 wins will get them in the playoffs. Rob Carpenter making his first visit back to Houston since his trade from the Oilers, in the backfield now. 2nd and 14 on the 38, and the pass is incomplete. It was Adams out of the backfield, and now a pass interference penalty apparently is called on the Oilers, and that should give the Giants a first down. It looked like Steve Brown, if you can read lips of Bob McElwee, was guilty of pass interference.
Steve Brown is 24. He's a left cornerback, and he's in there early reaching in on Adams. That was the call.
Brown leads the Oilers with 4 interceptions, but the Giants have a first down as a result of that penalty. 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line. No score. 11 minutes, 13 seconds remaining in the first quarter. In motion is Byron Williams. And the give is to Adams. Adams barreling inside the 30 to the 29. Gain of 5. Robert Abraham, 4-year veteran at linebacker, making the stop. And once again, the Giants line up without the huddle. side, and Adams has a first down.
Straight ahead power stuff there, Dick. Two reasons now for this quick offense. They can't get people in on the field on defense. They can't make their situation substitutions, and they're trying to fool those young people back there in that secondary. Not give them time to think and look to the sidelines and talk things over.
Riley and Bostic combined to make the tackle. In the last 3 games, the Oilers have allowed nearly 37 points a game and 477 yards. So they've been vulnerable. Carthen and Morris make up the backfield now. 1st and 10 for the Giants at the Houston 23. And there is Joe Morris finding a hole, and Morris picks up good yardage before Bostic makes the tackle. Joe Morris, who bounced back from problems with fumbles a couple of weeks ago when Adams took over. Once again, the Giants lining up quickly.
They didn't even have to block the defensive end that time. Jesse Baker, Morris so quick he was by him.
Giants have used up more than 10 minutes in this drive. Carthen is the lone back. 2nd down and 3. Sims up the middle, incomplete. Pass was intended for Byron Williams. Covering on the play was Steve Brown, so the Giants are faced with 3rd down.
And the Oilers got a pretty good push that time on the pocket. Sims had to throw around some arms and didn't have good sight vision. See it back here start to come in on him, and he has to look around, drop down, and he got a little bit of a rush too also.
Parcells was telling us yesterday that the Giants seem to play better with their backs to the wall. They're 0-2 against AFC Central teams. This is their 3rd, and they got the Steelers in the final game of the regular season. 3rd and 3 on the 16. 7 defensive backs. Penalty flag is down. The pass intended for Tony Galbraith out of the backfield is incomplete. Covered by Eason, but a flag. That'll be against the Oilers, and on 3rd down and 3, that will mean a Giant first down. Tough days for Hugh Campbell, Wayne.
You bet they say here now, if Hugh Campbell doesn't win today or doesn't win the remaining 3 games, he's out here as the head coach of the Houston Oilers.
And he told us that something that's totally not in my control. I don't want to be any place where they don't want me, is how he told us.
Yeah, and he said you can't worry about it either because it's like the weather. You can't control it.
He doesn't have to worry about the weather in here, though. It'll be a first down for the Giants. 9 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the first quarter. No score. The Giants have had it all the way. Morris hit behind the line of scrimmage, and a great second effort results in a touchdown. Extraordinary run by Joe Morris. A 12-yard touchdown run. He was hit behind the line of scrimmage by Robert Lyles, bounced off and went in for the score.
Just kind of reach block, and they pulled everybody over toward the right. Kind of a reach block right there. 93 Lyles made the first hit back there, and that's just great run. Strong legs by Joe Morris.
Jeff Rutledge will hold for Eric Schubert, who missed that field goal on a bad snap. The final play of the game against the Browns. Schubert trying to give the Giants a 7-0 lead, and he does. Good ball control by the Giants. 9:28 to go in the first quarter. Morris scores, and it's 7-0. 15 of those touchdowns are on the ground, and that's a Giant record for Joe Morris, who went into the game needing only 75 yards to reach 1,000. Only the second Giant. Ron Johnson had done it twice.
And you saw him there on the oxygen. You know, Bill Parcells told us yesterday, you got to watch his stamina. He's not the kind of back that can carry 25 times or so a game, and you have to watch that part of it with him.
Schubert will be kicking off following the 80-yard drive that consumed more than 5.5 minutes. Willie Drury and Herky Walls are back, and that will go out of bounds. And Schubert will have to kick all over again. Here's Morris's touchdown again, and it was a thing of beauty, Wayne.
Now watch number 93, the left linebacker here, Lyles. Watch him take a gamble, try to go up inside. Now he almost made a great play. Almost doesn't work where you're that outside linebacker. He should have been floating down the line and containing that and turning it back inside. He gambled to make the play up inside, and it cost his team 6 points.
Despite the fact that the Dallas Cowboys may be losing and the Giants need to win to go into first place, they knew coming into this weekend that they had things in their control. If the Giants were to wind up the season tied with Dallas, they would be the NFC East champions because of the better division record. In fact, the Giants have the luxury of having most of the tiebreakers in their favor. And of course, 2 victories will get them playoffs, and there's one way in which if they win today, they can get into the playoffs this afternoon. Schubert kicking off, and it's Willie Drury leading the league in kickoff returns, but that time he stopped at the 25-yard line, and the Oilers will go on offense for the first time. Robbie Jones on the tackle. Only the second time this year that Woolfolk and Rozier starting in the backfield.
And it makes you wonder who's going to be the lead blocker back there in that situation.
And the offensive line featuring two former number ones, Mike Munchak and Bruce Matthews.
And number 2, Harvey Salem at left tackle. They're a good young unit. They're going to maybe perhaps in a couple years could be the best around.
Jamie Williams is a former Giant who's anxious to go against his ex-team. And Warren Moon, who has missed nearly 3 games because of a hip pointer at quarterback. 1st and 10 at the 25. Tim Smith in motion. Moon has some time. Pass is high. He was going for Smith. Incomplete. Defending was Perry Williams. Curtis McGriff, Jim Burt, and the man who's tied for the NFL lead in sacks, Leonard Marshall.
And Jim Burt, of course, playing at nose tackle as well as anyone in the league right now.
Hunt, Reasons, Carson, and Lawrence Taylor.
And they always look to see where number 56 is, Houston included, was the first thing they told us.
Mark Haynes starting his first game at left cornerback with Williams, Hill, and Kennard. 2nd and 10 at the 25. George Martin now has replaced Curtis McGriff up front at left tackle. Rozier. And Rozier's hemmed in. Mark Haynes makes the tackle. Final scores in the NFL, the New England Patriots, who came in a 3-way tie in the AFC East, beating Detroit, hurting the Lions' chances. Chicago over Indianapolis, so the Bears bounce back. Kansas City over Atlanta, 38-10. Miami, that was a struggle with the Packers today. 3rd down and 10 at the 25 for Warren Moon, a $6 million man who came from Canada. Looks like he's running back north of the border. And down at the 14-yard line. The escapability lasted only so long for Warren Moon. Casey Merrill and Andy Hedden chased him down.
You know, you can see what they mean. Now take a look over on the left of your screen again. They didn't get Taylor blocked. Here he comes in, breaking through on the left side. That flushed Moon out. You also see what they mean about this guy's athletic ability back there. Took a loss right here, but you can see he's pretty nifty.
It is 4th down, a loss of 11 yards. And Lee Johnson now will be punting. He has averaged 42.5, and Phil McConkey is standing at his own 40-yard line. McConkey on the run at the 48-yard line. Gets it into Oiler territory where he's downed at the Houston 48 by Bruce Matthews. So just under 8 minutes remaining in the first quarter. That was a 39-yard kick and a 5-yard return. And the Giants, who lead 7-0, find themselves in good field position. But here's Bob McElwee with another penalty. It's against the Giants. And they'll mark off 10 yards. And we'll take a timeout with the Giants leading the Oilers 7-0. The Giants lead the Oilers 7-0 and have the ball as a result of the penalty back on their own 38-yard line. They would have had it in Oiler territory were it not for the penalty. Bill Sims, the quarterback. Joe Morris and Maurice Carthen, the backs. Sims, loads of time, completes it. And a first down at the 44-yard line. That was Byron Williams, who was caught 2 passes against the Browns last week after being shut out for 34 quarters.
The Giants said they wanted to get it to him more. Watch him work down here now about 14 yards and then take it to the middle. Sims with plenty of time puts it right on the shelf. Brown 24 defending.
19-yard pickup. Sims has hit 2 passes, one to Williams for 19 and Carthen for 17. Bill McConkey in the game now goes in motion. Morris again. Morris is stopped just shy of the 40-yard line, tackled by Robert Lyles. Washington stays alive for their playoff hopes, beating the Eagles, who were just about finished, and probably were last week when they lost to the Vikings. There's the final score. The Cowboys lose 50-24. St. Louis comes alive, beating New Orleans 28-16. First loss for Wade Phillips. 2nd and 7, the 41. Morris up the middle, first down, close to it. to the 34-yard line. Robert Lyles and Ray Childress combined to make the tackle on Morris, who's slow getting up. The Jets defeated Buffalo 27-7. So New England, Miami, and the New York Jets all win and all remain tied for first in the AFC East. Morris is shaken up. He's gained 56 yards so far on 8 carries and has looked awfully good.
Bill Parcells said coming into this game he'd be very disappointed if we don't run well against Houston, and they're controlling the line of scrimmage right now without question of a doubt.
Morris coming off, and as we told you, the 3 powers in the AFC East all winning, and the Jets will have their hands full at home next week, and you'll see it on CBS. The Chicago Bears, who bounced back from their loss to Miami on Monday, go against the Jets noon Eastern time. That's Saturday, beginning with the NFL Today on CBS Sports. It'll be 3rd down and 1, and George Adams replaces Joe Morris, who is less than 20 yards away from a 1,000-yard season. Right now, his health is the chief concern. Vito Cav, number 82, is in there as a second tight end, and 3rd and 1. Martin, first down. The Giants have all 9 of the first downs in this game, and the clock runs. 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Robert Lyles, with help from Jeff Donaldson, making the tackle for the Oilers.
Another good job up front too by Billy Yard, the left guard, and Bart Oates, the center.
1st and 10 for the Giants at the Oilers 31. They held the ball for 5.5 minutes and went 80 yards, capped by Joe Morris's 12-yard touchdown run. Morris remains on the sideline. Adams and Carthen are the setback. And on a reverse, Byron Williams. Williams gets to the 30-yard line, actually gained 1. It looked like the Oilers might trap him behind the line of scrimmage. Richard Byrd and Frank Bush, Bush in particular, on the tackle.
Byrd comes in a defensive end over on the right side a lot for Jesse Baker, and stayed at home and made that play.
5th-round draft pick out of North Carolina. They say in Houston that sooner or later Bush was going to break into that starting lineup.
2nd down, 9.
And he has, and has looked good. 2nd down and 9. The ball at the 30-yard line, under 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Sims getting a rush from the blind side. Escapes it and completes the pass to Adams. George Adams has a first down for the Giants to the 12-yard line before Patrick Allen and Steve Brown make the tackle, and that's another 19-yard pickup for Phil Sims through the air.
Right, great composure again in the pocket by Phil Sims as he looked downfield. Nothing was there, didn't panic, hung right in there. Robert Lyles on the coverage right here, and it's not going to work. Adams outruns him by a step. That was a great throw.
So the Giants with a lead and threatening for more. George Adams, who's big, strong, and tall. He gained 100 yards against the Cardinals. He can catch, and here he is on the ground. And Adams inside the 5, close to the goal line. And hanging on for dear life was Alan Lyday, second-year free agent. So Adams gives the Giants 1st and goal, or close to it.
Good block by Bavaro over here on the left side. You saw him run his man clear out of the picture. The outside linebacker Lyles, he took him and run him about 10 yards laterally. Opened up a gigantic hole.
And they're going to measure to see whether the Giants have that first down. And they're short by little less than a yard. It'll be 2nd down and less than 1. With 3:51 remaining. Joe Morris has bruised ribs, and he is expected to return later on. That's how close the Giants are for a first down. They have amassed 142 yards so far. Houston's on the minus side. Morris has returned.
See why it's hard to find him for those defensive people. We had a hard time finding him in the huddle there.
2nd and goal on the 1. Joe Morris scored the first Giant touchdown. Joe again, and he's in for the touchdown. Another score for Joe Morris. His 15th and 16th touchdowns on the ground this year, and the Giants now lead it 13-0.
Right over the back of the left guard, Billy Ard here. Good effort. You can see right on the goal line. Easily broke the plane of it for the 6 points. Good job up front again.
Eric Schubert, Rutledge to hold. 3 minutes and 31 seconds remaining in this first quarter. And the kick is good. The Oilers have had their troubles. They've been outscored 98-24. Now add 14 to that, and Morris has both Giants score. Joe Morris is trying to chase Ron Johnson, who gained over 1,000 yards in 1970 and again in 72, and Joe Morris is inching closer, Wayne.
I tell you, this was a good runner too, wasn't he? He was a skater, a lot like Jimmy Brown. His feet were always close to the ground and tough to, he was never off balance, always had 1 foot down. This guy's a little bit tough too.
He has 58 yards on 9 carries, but for the Giants, more important, 2 touchdowns. 14-0. Schubert will be kicking off. Willie Drury and Herky Walls are deep for the Oilers. And it's Drury at the 7. Dives forward to the 26-yard line, and the Oilers 1st and 10.
I'm going to point out that next to last play in the touchdown drive for you and draw up Bavaro's block, the tight end, right here on the linebacker. He'll run him clear out here. The lead back will come in here and then close on a seal. Adams has it all the way on in here, but it was an excellent job by the tight end, who they're calling perhaps the toughest guy on this squad. The linebacker got himself in trouble by stepping out, but Bavaro really cleaned him up.
Good, tough, hard running by George Adams to set up the touchdown by that man. Meanwhile, there is an Oiler shaken up. Chris Dressel, who's a starting H-back for the Oilers last year, is injured. There's a scoring drive, and the Giants have used nearly 10 minutes of this first quarter and have controlled the ball. The Oilers have had it for only a minute and a half and find themselves down 14-0. And of course, next Sunday, the Giants, if they win today, will be tied with Dallas for the NFC East lead. Will clash. Green Bay against Detroit. Check your local listings, and it all begins with the NFL Today on CBS. So Dressel appears to be all right, and we'll see what Warren Moon can do with the Oilers down 14-0.
Well, with those two backs, there's Moriarty in there now at fullback. They need a blocking back. They're not going to get much done with Rozier and Woolfolk both in the game.
Moriarty is there. He is their leading rusher, and he's in the game. And Moon going to the air on 1st down, and now it's incomplete. Drew Hill was the intended receiver, but he was out of bounds, incomplete.
With those two running backs in there before, his protection was breaking down. They kept Moriarty in there. He got this off with good protection, but you see the 1 foot out of bounds.
They're going to rely on Drew Hill today. He's having his best year in his 7-year career. Former L.A. Ram, caught 7 passes last week and has 7 touchdown receptions. 2nd down and 10 at the 27 for Moon and the Oilers with 3:18 to go in the first quarter. Moon hits Drew Hill, who hangs onto it and has a 1st down. He took quite a lick at the 39-yard line. Perry Williams hit Drew Hill, who's not very big, but made the tackle.
And you got to see some of Warren Moon's arm right there, too. This was a line drive he threw in here. Drew Hill gets the 1st down yardage on Perry Williams, turns back, and Moon zinged it in. He can throw. He's strong.
Drew Hill is 5'9", 170 pounds, but can take that hit, and it's a 1st and 10. First down for the Oilers. They're at the 39-yard line. Mike Rozier is in there. Going with Moriarty, and Rozier cutting outside. Rozier to the 45-yard line. Gain of 6 yards on the play with some hard running, and Mark Haynes comes up to make the stop.
Talked about the need for lead backs. Here's Moriarty right here now at fullback. This is a Nebraska play. He's going to come in here and block Lawrence Taylor, the linebacker, and Rozier, of course, right on in behind it. But you got to have a guy in there that can handle the big guys on the block. He steps up, takes Taylor on, and gets Rozier sprung.
2nd and 4 at the 45-yard line. Butch Woolfolk replaces Rozier and goes in motion. Moon, quick pass, is caught by Woolfolk, and a territory to the 47-yard line. Mark Haynes making the tackle, and you think this guy feels good about that catch?
Oh, you bet. But, you know, he really is a role player here. They bring him out of the backfield in these situations. He turns in front of Reasons, the linebacker, and again, Moon right on time with it and right on the money.
He has more catches than any running back in Houston Oilers history right now, and leading the team with 65 receptions. 1st and 10 for the Oilers, who trail 14-0 with 1:20 to go in the first quarter. They're on the Giant 46. Taylor coming in, penalty marker down. Woolfolk again fighting for first down yardage and was knocked out of bounds, but that'll be nullified with a holding penalty against Houston. Byron Hunt and Mark Haynes on the stop, and more frustration for Hugh Campbell.
Taylor on a blitz that time from the right-hand side. They had Rozier on him, and he didn't do a bad job.
Sounded like Harvey Salem, number 73.
And what they're trying to do is slide their line to the left. When Taylor lines up as the right linebacker, they want to slide their line blocking to the left, so that tackle Salem ends up blocking Taylor. Taylor was by him so fast that time that perhaps Salem reached out and tried to get Taylor with a hand.
Taylor, who has 12.5 sacks, second on the team to Leonard Marshall, who has 13.5. First down and 20 as a result of the penalty. Oilers back on their 44. Rozier, the single back. Moon has Drew Hill, and Hill is ridden out of bounds, and the Oilers get a lot of that yardage back to the Giant 42. Perry Williams makes the tackle. Gain of 14 yards.
Perry Williams playing a little bit loose here. Of course, that's nothing wrong with that in this situation because it's a long yardage situation, but he should be there a little bit sooner. Should be arriving just as the ball gets there, and of course he wasn't, which indicates he was playing a little bit too loose.
Drew Hill last week, his season's best against Cincinnati. Second down and 6 now at the 42. Just over a minute remaining in the first quarter. Moon to the air again, nearly intercepted. The pass was intended for the tight end Jamie Williams, and it was Lawrence Taylor who nearly came up with the ball.
Moon will take a shot right here from George Martin as he releases. The ball was thrown behind Jamie Williams. Watch the shot here now. George Martin just at the release. That's a little bit too late, I think. We're getting in that area right now where you'd almost have to call that or could call it. Quarterbacks should be protected a little bit more than they are this year.
Moon is 3 for 6 for 35 yards. Stan Edwards joins Butch Woolfolk in the backfield. Third down. Here comes Andy Hinton. And a loose ball. The Oilers have it. Bruce Matthews recovers the fumble, but no one picked up Andy Hedden on the top.
Hedden is right here. Here he is. A great blitzer. He's got great speed, 4.5 speed. He comes on in a no-touch. Linebackers love it. Call this a no-touch. Somebody's pointing at him over there, but they just ignore him, and he's on by. That was Tim Smith, number 83, pointing at him, but nobody picked up Andy Hedden. He got the sack.
And Warren Moon is shaken up, and it seems like a lot of the guys in the Columbia Blue have been slow getting up today.
Well, he's playing hurt anyway. He has a hip pointer that he got 3 weeks ago against the Steelers, and he missed a couple games, and he's playing with a special pad over that hip. Watch Hedden coming in again. Moon doesn't look like he sees him at all. Pretty good shot, and you can tell he hadn't time to protect himself. You tell he did not see him, as he wasn't braced at all for that hit.
Giants with, I guess, similar type of linebackers in the size department.
I'll say, I can't believe them. You know, they're all 6'4", 6'5". They all weigh 235 or 245, and that's what they want. They draft them that way. They want them to stop the run. They want them to have good speed to blitz. Big linebackers are good against the run, and you know, when you play in that division outside against running teams like Washington and of course Dallas with Dorsett, when the weather gets bad later on in the year, it's good to have those big linebackers because they can stuff the run.
There's Oliver Luck, who have been playing the last 2 3/4 games with Warren Moon out with the hip pointer. Luck in his 4th year from West Virginia, taking some warm-up tosses as Moon comes off, and now Lee Johnson in to punt on 4th down at 17. So this was the Oilers' deepest penetration, but the Giant defense snuffed that out. Phil McConkey is back standing at his 10. 40 seconds remaining in the first quarter. It's been all Giants. High kick by Johnson and a fair catch called for by McConkey. The ball bounces toward the end zone and unable to be saved by the Oilers. Frank Bush tried to keep it alive. He couldn't. So Johnson's 51-yard punt goes into the end zone. It'll be a touchback.
Bush is 94. He's in the end zone. He has to be out of the end zone, dive in, and not touch any part of the end zone before he hits the ball. He could have made it that way with that volleyball move, but at one time he was in the end zone.
Of course, if he can float in midair in the end zone, he's not in the end zone.
It's like a receiver running out of bounds and coming back in. You just can't do that.
So Phil Simms back now with the Giants leading 14-0 at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. 27 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Rob Carpenter joins Joe Morris in the backfield. Play action. And Simms is going deep for Byron Williams. And Byron Williams with a great catch and a big play by Simms. A 42-yard pickup to the 38-yard line of the Oilers. Steve Brown on the tackle.
And watch it. He was wide open right from the start. Look at that. 8 yards off the line of scrimmage, and he's got 3 steps on Steve Brown. Simms saw him, underthrew it just a little bit, or that would have been 6.
Byron Williams with a big catch and a 42-yard gain. There's the gun. That's the end of the first quarter here in Houston with the Giants leading the Oilers 14-0.
Sponsored by Miller Beer. Miller, made the American way since 1855. Toyota, who reminds you to get more from life. Buckle up. Who could ask for anything more? And by the astonishingly simple new Sony Handycam. All the excitement of video movies now in the palm of your hand.
Here at the Astrodome in Houston, Dick Stockton and Wayne Walker. And after one quarter, it's been all Giants, 14-0. Joe Morris has 2 touchdowns on the ground. And Phil Simms, who just completed a 42-yarder to Byron Williams, has 5 for 7 for 103 yards and looking sharp. 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line of the Oilers. Joe Morris inching closer to that 1,000-yard season. Tackled at the 34-yard line.
Take a look here again at that throw to Byron Franklin. Why it was open. Franklin, of course, coming in here. He runs up over the middle here, wide open right from the start, but only because Tony Eason, the free safety, had sucked up on play action.
Robert Abraham made that tackle. Giants lining up quickly again. 2nd and 6 on the 34. Morris this time is tripped up. As he gets to the 34-yard line, it was Richard Byrd who was injured against Cincinnati. He has a bad knee. 2nd-round draft pick from Southern Mississippi, and awfully quick, as you saw there in the open field against Morris.
No huddle offense again.
3rd and 6 at the 34 for the Giants. Oilers are showing blitz. Simms. Penalty marker down. Mark Bavaro, the intended receiver, covered by the strong safety Keith Bostic, but there's another flag down. And this time it's holding against the Giants. Bob McElwee's microphone is not working today. So the Oilers have a choice right here.
Holding, number 60, offense, penalty is declined, 4th down.
Brad Benson, the left tackle.
And they're going to decline it, of course. Make it 4th down.
And Sean Landeta will come in for the Giants to punt. Landeta is 2nd in the NFC behind Greg Coleman of the Minnesota Vikings. Willie Drury will go back for the Oilers. There's Landeta averaging nearly 44 yards a kick. Just a minute gone by in the second quarter. now the Giants are going to take a 5-yard penalty for delay of the game.
Now you know what they were trying to do, Dick, with 4th down and just over 5 yards. They were laying at the line of scrimmage.
Number 5, offense.
Hoping that they could get a penalty or a jump of some sort by the Houston defense, which would make it 4th and 1 or less than 1 on 4th down. Then they could get their offense back in there and go for it.
It helped the Giants on one of their drives in the first quarter when they had a 3rd and 3 and there was a 5-yard penalty. And they got a first down that virtue. So Landeta back to kick, and the Oilers did move. Frank Bush tried to get back. The ball bounces inside the 5, and the Giants are able to down it at the 1-yard line. But there was a penalty flag upfield.
Somebody from Houston to jump off sides in that one. It was Frank Bush, number 94.
And George Adams might have saved it at the 1-yard line. And they call offsides on both teams, offsetting penalty.
Offside, number 94 defense. Offside, number 25 kicking team lined up offside. Penalties will offset. Replay 4th down.
So they'll kick it again, which is a tough break for the Giants, Wayne, who had the ball down at the 1-yard line.
You know that they would not have taken that penalty, that's for sure, if it would have only been a penalty on Houston.
So there's Drury going back again. Landetta's kick goes into the end zone, a touchback. So the Oilers will take over on the 20-yard line, a 39-yard punt. New England beat Detroit 23-6, a final score. Miami over Green Bay. Marino 5 touchdown passes today, and the New York Jets beat Buffalo 27-7. So in the AFC East, 3 teams already have won 10 games this year. And next Saturday on CBS, beginning at 12 noon Eastern time, with the NFL Today, followed by the Chicago Bears and the New York Jets. What a collision that'll be.
Well, it really is. You know, the Bears have to pick it up. They may have lost once, but they got to get steam going into those playoffs.
1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Warren Moon back. His pass caught by Tim Smith at the 42-yard line for a first down. Mark Haynes on the tackle. Tim Smith not having the same kind of year he had the last 2 on the reception.
No, 83 catches 2 years ago, 69 last year, just 28 coming into today's game, and this is his area right in there. He's a mid-range receiver. You get it close to him, he'll catch it, and he'll catch it in a crowd, and he's done it very quietly throughout the nation and the league. Not too many people have heard of him.
He's a possession-type receiver who has a lot of better speed than people think. Oilers on their 42. Woolfolk. And Woolfolk to the 46-yard line. Harry Carson making the tackle on his former teammate.
Now we asked Woolfolk when we talked to him the other day if he thought that the Giants would change in their defensive calls or anything because he might know him. He says, no, I don't think they will. He said, because I don't think they thought I was smart enough to remember him while I was there. He said it couldn't help his offense, and he said he'd just rather, let them watch the films of the Giants defense rather than help them by telling them anything.
Had an interesting comment about playing versus sitting.
Yeah, he said it didn't matter where he played, special teams or anything. He just did want to be in the game and play.
2nd down and 6 at the 46. Moon's pass caught by Smith. Another first down at the 43-yard line of the Giants. That good for 12 yards. Harry Carson and Perry Williams making the tackle, and so Moon on the quick delivery and another first down.
Well, it shows you about his arm. He's kind of backpedaling right here, and Smith finds an open spot, but Moon all arm that time as he was going backwards when he threw that ball.
Smith with 2 receptions. Drew Hill, the other receiver, comes out to the top. Warren Moon was the object of a bidding war after 6 years in the Canadian League. 3rd year with the Oilers. 1st and 10 at the Giant 43. And here comes Lawrence Taylor. The pass is complete to Jamie Williams. And Williams will give the Oilers another first down. Terry Kennard on the tackle. And so a former Giant with an 11-yard reception and another first down.
You got to look for number 56. This time he was right here. They didn't find him because he came in wide open without anyone touching him. But watch Moon now. His composure. He'll go back in the pocket. Here comes Taylor in on him on a no-touch. He maintains his concentration and gets it downfield to the tight end.
Jamie Williams. Third-round draft pick by the Giants in '83. Went to the Cardinals in Tampa Bay. Now the Oilers, 1st and 10 at the New York 32-yard line. Rozier in motion. Moon to the other side. And completes the pass to Drew Hill. And out of bounds. Close to another first down. Moon is now 8 of 11 through the air. Lawrence Taylor and Perry Williams on the stop.
And look what a great throw it was, too, as Drew Hill comes down and runs this kind of a comeback pattern, because watch the drop by Taylor right here. He gets out in really good shape. Moon doesn't have much room to fit it in here on this throw. Look at the drop now by Taylor. He's in excellent position. And look at that throw by Warren Moon. A line driver again, in there on a wire.
Hill has caught 3 passes for 35 yards, gain of 9, 2nd and 1 at the Giant 23. 3 tight ends now in there for the Oilers. Play action for Moon. And Moon knocked away. He was going for Chris Dressel, one of his tight ends, and Perry Williams with a superb stop, saving an Oiler touchdown there.
Dick, I'll guarantee you, if Warren Moon would have set and thrown this ball the way he can, it's a touchdown. But he didn't really have good balance, good mechanics on the throw. It was thrown soft, and it allowed Perry Williams to come in and get the hand on it.
Good play by Perry Williams, who has 1 interception this year after picking off 3 last year as an all-rookie performer. 3rd down and 1 at the 23 now. It himself, and the second effort may have gotten him the first down. Perry Williams forcing it up from the secondary.
Moon was very quiet and very intense this week at practice, coming back from not playing a couple weeks, and there's been talk of the quarterback controversy. A lot of people around here would think they're paying this guy too much money, and it should be Oliver Luck in there, and he really needs and wants to establish himself here in Houston. He really hasn't done that yet.
He started the first 10 games for the Oilers. They were 4 and 6, and then was injured against the Steelers. And coming back again today. And as a 1st and 10 on the Giant 21, George Martin replaces Curtis McGriff. Moon, quick pass, complete to the 15. Butch Woolfolk again out of the backfield. Woolfolk coming into this game had caught 26 passes in his last 3 games.
Hot receiver, because Taylor right here again blitzes, and so instead of blocking, Woolfolk's out of the backfield, and he'll be the hot receiver. Moon gets it to him right away. There he's flared inside. Moon looks over there. If you don't block the linebacker, you better be ready to catch the pass, and he was.
Free safety Terry Kennard making the stop. Gain of 7 on that play. 2nd and 3 at the Giant 14. Is caught inside the 5. Drew Hill. And it'll be 1st and goal for the Oilers. Perry Williams defending again. So Hill has been busy, and so has Perry Williams so far.
I'll say Bill Parcells talked about this guy yesterday, and we told you at the top of the telecast that it was one of their concerns, and you see why. He's having a sensational year down here for Houston.
Already 4 catches, 46 yards for Drew Hill. Some of them tough ones, and Bill Parcells has a few words for Gary Reasons, who leaves the game. It'll be 1st and goal at the 2. Moriarty and Rozier in the eye. Play action, and wide open is Jamie Williams, the Oiler tight end, for the touchdown.
Too. It was play action, so he faked the block. Probably went down on the ground, delayed a while, got up and ran across. You see him coming across the middle right now. Moon waits for him, and he was wide open, and that's a happy tight end right now.
First touchdown reception of the year, and for Williams, couldn't come against a better team. Tony Zendejas with Johnson holding. And Zendejas, who's been outstanding for the Oilers, puts them on the board and brings them to to within a touchdown of the Giants with 9 minutes and 28 seconds remaining. The Giants to the Cardinals and the Buccaneers. Jamie Williams, the second leading receiver for the Oilers, have found a home here in Houston.
He had a tough time getting here, too. He went to St. Louis. They let him go. Went to Tampa Bay. He actually didn't even make it to Tampa Bay. They cut him before he got there. Was picked up by the Oilers and been a success story for him.
Lee Johnson with the kickoff, and that's Adams in the end zone. He'll down it there for the touchback.
I'll tell you, they've been running this since the history of the NFL, right from the beginning. Watch him right here. This is Jamie Williams. He'll block right here, set up for a while, and then delay pattern over the middle. They want the safety to lose him like he's blocking. The safety will come up. They lose him, and he's wide open. Moon gets it to him, and it's an easy 6.
The Oilers went 80 yards in 10 plays, and Moon was 8 for 9 in that drive. First and 10 at the 20 for the Giants. 9:22 remaining in the first half. 14-7 to score. Joe Morris, and Morris slices his way to the 27-yard line. Gain of about 7 on the play. Tackled by John Grimsley. Minnesota leading Tampa Bay 6-0 in the second quarter. And Seattle over Cleveland 10-3 in the second quarter. Out in Seattle. Denver against the Raiders 7-0. John Elway with a touchdown pass. Second down and 3 at the 27. Carthen fumbles, and the Oilers appear to have it. But there's another fumble, and I think Houston still does. Patrick Allen.
But it was a great original hit, I think, by the outside linebacker Frank Bush. Up over the top. Watch him from the right side. Bush number 94 coming in on a blitz over the block. Makes the hit, and the ball was out before Carthen hit the ground. A wild frenzy there. Looked like that perhaps was an attempted lateral try.
Jesse Baker might have been in there to knock the ball out of his hands.
Look at this. He's on the ground. He wants to lateral it back.
No one expected that. First and 10, the Oilers at the Giant 27, trailing 14-7. First big break of the game. Moon looking one way, and all alone is Tim Smith. Touchdown, Houston.
Some confusion in the Giants secondary. Mark Haynes lets him go. Kenny Hill, number 48, doesn't get over there in time. See Hill entering from the right. Moon picked it up, and there's another quick 6.
And as this game changed in a hurry, Moon with 2 touchdown passes in a hurry. Now it is 10th and 11th of the season, and Tony Zendejas will try to tie the score. Lee Johnson is holding. By Carthen, and a penalty thrown. Giants are pointing to the Oilers. Time to take another look.
Moon right here, a good look off left, came back and found Tim Smith right away. You see Hill hustling over from free safety position to try to get there in time, but that's hard to get to that outside corner when you're a safety if the receiver hasn't been bumped by the cornerback.
And there's Tim Smith with his first touchdown reception of the year. So Jamie Williams and Tim Smith on the receiving end of 2 Warren Moon strikes. One a short one, one with some distance. Following the 5-yard penalty. High snap. Zendejas' kick is good. So in 48 seconds, the Oilers, who are trailing 14-0, have tied it up. And there's Warren Moon's reaction. We have a new ball game. Well, Bill Parcells sees his team in another struggle against an AFC Central Division club after the Giants lost to Cincinnati and Cleveland last week, tied with Houston. As Johnson kicks off, Hill will down it in the end zone for a touchback.
Take a look at that touchdown again now on our chalkboard. Watch Mark Haynes right here. Now, he doesn't do a bad job as you see Smith runs inside. If Haynes would have let him go outside, that would have been bad. That's a cardinal sin. Now, the safety here he got looked off by Warren Moon. There's no play action. He just got froze from the fact that Warren Moon was looking left all the way. Smith gets inside, and then Kenny Hill just frozen by Warren Moon's look off to the left.
Giants at the 20, 1st and 10. 8:34 to go in the first half. Morris again finds a hole, slithering through the line and brings it out to the 24-yard line, a gain of 4. Robert Lyles and Ray Childress make the tackle. The Giants were successful the first 2 times they had the ball, and then they kind of fizzled out, and that fumble by Carthen really hurt, resulting in a Houston touchdown to tie the game.
Dick, that'll happen a lot of times when it's easy for you. The first couple times you have the ball, you lose a little bit of your edge, your intensity. The other team gets it back. Now it belongs to the Oilers.
2nd and 6, and Joe Morris is 2 yards away from a 1,000-yard season. He goes in motion. Penalty marker down, and Sims swings it out to Rob Carpenter. And Carpenter is tackled at the 31-yard line, close to a first down. But the Giants are penalized.
Illegal motion, number 20, offense, still 2nd down.
Joe Morris turned it up too soon. Instead of a first down, it'll be 2nd down and 11, back to the 19.
Houston's a young team, and if you take it to them early and make them think they're out of the game, you really would have a pretty easy day with them. But if you give a young team any indication that they can give you a battle, they will.
And right now they are. Carpenter and Morris in the backfield. And the handoff. Morris, and Frank Bush was there. Frank Bush came right in and made the best play anyone has made on Joe Morris today.
Look, everybody's using that bear look. Look at this in here, all packed in the middle on that 46 look, but Frank Bush comes from the outside right here, and he's the one that makes the play. But they got the middle stuff by what they call a sink in there. They sink the lineman in, and Bush comes in on a blitz and makes the play.
Loss of a yard, 3rd down and 12. Back to the 18. McConkey is the 3rd wide receiver in there for the Giants. Sims thinks better of the shotgun. And his pass incomplete. Flag down again. McConkey says he was held. Richard Johnson.
They blitzed 2 safeties that time, Dick, and hit Sims just as he released.
The trademark of the Oilers.
Holding, number 23 defense, 5 yards, automatic first down.
It's an automatic first down. Richard Johnson, who was the 11th pick in the draft, in the first round out of Wisconsin.
Take a peek and see what happened. 23 right of your screen. They just get their legs hooked up and goes down. There really wasn't any holding. It was more or less a trip, but it looked like it was an accidental one.
Johnson missed camp. He was a holdout, and he has been slower to move into the scheme of things than, say, Ray Childress, the other number 1 has, at defensive end. So it's 1st and 10 for the Giants on their 23. 6:35 to go in the first half. Morris. Joe Morris fighting his way past the 30-yard line, and man, we were just talking about Ray Childress finally makes the tackle on Joe. And Morris goes over 1,000. He has gained 80 yards so far in this first half.
Brad Benson, number 60, come out here and get a block on the linebacker. Lyles kicks, or Bush rather, kicks him out, and Morris cut right up behind it.
Joe Morris, we like to say, is short, not small. 2nd down and 1. Play action for Sims. Incomplete. McConkey had beaten the defenders, and they had Bobby Johnson crossing over the middle.
Crossing patterns deep like that are the toughest thing for a young secondary to cover. They can be playing a zone back there, and guys will be running through their zone. And he did have it open right here, but he just overthrew it a little bit.
Patrick Allen was the closest defender. Sims has now completed 5 of 9 passes for 103 yards. 3rd down and 1. Giants at their own 32. 14-14 to score. into the line. And it's a Giant first down. Giants took a 14-0 lead on 2 Joe Morris touchdowns in the first quarter. And then Warren Moon unlimbered his passing arm. Hit Tim Smith for 22 yards and then 11 yards. Finally, Jamie Williams caught a 2-yard touchdown pass. And then following a Giant fumble, Moon hit Smith for 27 yards. And that's where we are now at 14 apiece. First and 10 at the Giant 34. Sims stepping up, going deep for Bobby Johnson. And a penalty marker down, and Johnson winds up with the ball. Patrick Allen was there to wrestle it from him. And it's going to go against the Oilers.
Pass interference, number 29 defense, first down.
Patrick Allen, the right cornerback, is number 29. Bobby Johnson has him all the way. Allen does. Here's some contact right here before he starts to look back. He's making contact before he turns that head to look back, and that's what they call.
Bill Sims let it fly, and he saw the flag. That's the third penalty by the Oiler defense. Back on pass defense today, and the Giants have it at the Houston 24, first and 10. Up the middle, incomplete. Mark Bavaro, the tight end, the intended receiver, and Keith Bostic covering on the play.
Good coverage downfield that time. They also had George Adams running the same kind of pattern Bavaro did, coming out of the backfield to the other side, but the Oilers had them both covered.
Sims came into today with the most yardage thrown in the NFC, over 3,100 yards, and tied with Neil Lomax of the Cardinals with the most passing attempts at 405. And the Giants have been far from a ball control team this year. Crowd still reacting to that pass interference call. Second and 10. Carpenter in the Giant backfield. Another penalty. Sims' pass to Bavaro is complete to the 15-yard line. Alan Lyday makes the tackle, but we've had another flag in what has been a penalty-filled first half.
Number 25 defense offside. Will measure for the first down.
Keith Bostic.
Bavaro has been a savior for the New York Giants. As we mentioned, the staff thinks he's about the toughest guy they have. Immune to pain, they say. There's 25 right there on a blitz. Bostic comes in. He's just a step over the line of scrimmage when the ball snapped.
Measuring to see whether Bavaro picked up enough yardage for the first down.
Offside, number 25 defense. Penalty is declined. Third down.
Third and about a yard. Bill Parcells. He says the Giants are a competitive team, not a great team. To put things in perspective. They know that the Cowboys have lost, and the Giant win would put them into a tie for first. Conrad Goody, backup center, is the third tight end. He's number 62 at the 15. Morris has the first down as he battles his way to the 11-yard line, and Keith Bostic makes the stop. Carthen was blocking for Morris, and so the Giants, who saw a 14-0 lead dissipate in a hurry, are threatening to take a touchdown lead again with exactly 4 minutes to go in the first half.
Number 82 is Vito Cav. He comes in motion, gets a block over here, and Carthen, number 44, gets a turn-in block, and that opened it up for Joe Morris. 2 blocks right there at the point of attack.
First and 10 at the 10. Sims up the middle, and a touchdown. Mark Bavaro. You were talking about Bavaro's ability as a blocker with Mowat out of there, but he is second in receiving on the Giants, and he makes a good catch for a touchdown.
A good throw, too, here, because Sims threw it away from the defender, and Bavaro used his body much like a rebounder. And the rebound can get between his body between the ball and defensive back and just pluck it away. He knew it when he released it, didn't he? That's the Boris Becker boogie there he did.
He must have watched Wimbledon. So Sims with his 18th touchdown pass. Eric Schubert's conversion is good, and with 3:36 to go in the first half, the Giants have regained the lead 21-14. Of Notre Dame.
He was relentless on that last play, too. Watch him right here. We mentioned the good throw, but he gets bounced around here pretty good by this linebacker right at the line of scrimmage, but he fights through that and gets inside on the safety to make the catch. Watch this hit he takes right here at the line, but he fights through that. Another one, gets inside, and is a good throw by Sims.
And the big play was that pass interference call that resulted in a 43-yard play to Bobby Johnson. There's the scoring drive. Sims with the touchdown pass, 21-14 the score. So Eric Schubert will be kicking off for the Giants. Willie Drury and Herky Walls are back deep for the Oilers. Second-year receiver from Texas with good speed brings it out close to the 35, where Terry Kennard finally halts him.
He just tucks in behind right here, and when he sees an opening, he's got about 9.3 speed, and he turned it on. And we mentioned his speed along with Drew Hill's as deep threats, but he doesn't catch the ball as good as Drew Hill does. That's why they don't use him in that capacity much.
Final scores today. Patriots won. Chicago bounces back with a win over the Colts. Kansas City victorious. 1st and 10 at the 35. Moon has completed 9 of his last 10 passes. 2 of them for score. As time, and Tim Smith wide open over the middle. And into Giant territory to the 48-yard line. Kennard makes the stop. 18-yard pickup there.
Watch Smith came in motion here, number 83. He gets tripped and goes down at the line of scrimmage. They kind of lose him. And Warren Moon back there, as cool as the other side of the pillow, waited for him to get up and got it to him.
4 receptions for Tim Smith. He had gained 1,000 yards 2 straight years. This has been kind of an off year, as we said. 1st and 10 at the 48. Oilers and Moon throwing it away. Smith was covered by Haynes. He had thrown 10 out of 11 complete before that one. Miami over Green Bay. 5 touchdown passes by Marino. The Cardinals, slumping Cardinals, bounce back with a victory. And the Jets over Buffalo. Washington keeps their flickering playoff hopes alive. 9-point deficit overcome by the Redskins. And Cincinnati trouts the Dallas Cowboys. It's the kind of day Moon is having. Pretty good one so far. That's how much time remains in the first half, but the Oilers trailing by a touchdown. Lawrence Taylor forces the play, loose ball, and there's Taylor. Brought down from behind at the 10-yard line by Larry Moriarty. And the Giant defense makes things happen again. 25-yard return on that fumble.
And here's Taylor right here. He's the one that'll come in and make the play. But Reasons number 55 is a linebacker shooting up in here that I think gets the pressure on Moon at first. Let's take a peek. He came on a blitz and fought his way in there. Makes the hit. It goes off. Taylor is back there also on a blitz. And another big play for number 56. But caused by number 55, Gary Reasons.
And that'll be a sack for the Giants. That's 61 on the year. Reasons will get credit for it. Giants have a chance to break the Bears mark set last year. Giants 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line. Morris cutting up the middle. Bounces off of defenders and gets to the 3. John Grimsley and Steve Brown make the stop.
Watch the lead block here by 44 Carthon on the linebacker. Grimsley, number 59, stood him straight up.
And now we're going to have our 2-minute warning. Joe Morris, who needed 75 yards for 1,000 on the year, has surpassed that with ease. And the Giants trying to open up another 2-touchdown lead. Lawrence Taylor having an outstanding first half, and sometimes he plays on such a higher level that when he has an ordinary game, better than most, people start to point some fingers.
Well, you know, if they can find him, they'll try to get him blocked at least, with, if not one, with 2 people. And when they get him blocked with 2, sometimes that opens things up for other people. I'll tell you, he's a force. Anyone that ever plays him, they look for him first.
Second and goal on the 1. Is in for the touchdown. That's 3 on the day for Joe Morris. And the Giants, who saw a 14-0 lead evaporate in a hurry, can make it 14-0 if Schubert can make the conversion.
Look at Conrad Goody, number 62 right here. He goes down, gets a block. Morris right over the top of him. Brad Benson just to the inside of Goody. Also a fine block. And that was the leverage.
Morris had 3 touchdowns against the Cleveland Browns last week. He has 3 in the first half against the Oilers. Rutledge is holding. And the kick is good. Just under 2 minutes remaining in the first half, and Joe Morris has 3 touchdowns, and the Giants lead the Oilers 28-14. Regina Woolfolk and Linda Morris are together again. Of course, Butch and Joe were teammates with the Giants before Butch Woolfolk was dealt to Houston. The 2 of them have been friends. And Joe Morris's wife came down all week to spend some time, and so they're sitting watching their husbands today. Morris has gained 97 yards on 18 carries.
This might be the game where he shoots that stamina theory right through the window, which we talked about earlier. He's on his way to a 30-carry afternoon.
And he has gained 100 or more yards in 4 games, which ties a Giant record, and he can, of course, set that. 28-14. Coming up at halftime, Brent Irv and John Madden is in the studio today with scores and highlights. Schubert kicking off. Penalty markers fly, and Walls is down at the 26-yard line. Carl Banks on the tackle. It'll be against the Oilers. Illegal block.
Illegal block, number 89 on the run back.
Morris's 3 touchdowns gives him 17 on the season to tie the Giant record set back in 1949 by Gene Roberts.
Don't look at me. I didn't play against him.
Well, I know that. But you played against Homer Jones?
I did.
He had 14. Ron Johnson had 14. So the Oilers will start from the 14-yard line, 1st and 10. With 2 touchdowns in each of the first 2 periods. Last week, 33 points in defeat. Rozier. And the former Heisman Trophy winner is knocked out of bounds at the 21-yard line by Gary Reasons. Good block from the tight end, Jamie Williams.
Got one. That's Jamie Williams right here, but look at the lead block he got from Woolfolk out here on the cornerback. He'll knock the cornerback inside, and that was really the Springer. Woolfolk not known for his blocking. The cornerback shows up, and he cuts him and turns him inside. Got Rozier around the corner.
2nd and 3 at the 21. 1:47 showing on the clock. Rozier goes in motion. And they couldn't fool the Giants. Butch Woolfolk stopped at the 20-yard line for a loss of a yard. Leonard Marshall and Gary Reasons were there. 3rd down and 3. Each team has 3 timeouts remaining, and Warren Moon wants to use one of them right now. So the Oilers, who trail 28-14, 27th in offense and 27th in defense, trying to make another comeback against the New York Giants. And next Saturday, St. John's, without Chris Mullen this year, but with an outstanding performer in Walter Berry, trying to make a comeback and keep things going in the Big East against UCLA.
Berry had 29 points the other night.
Walt Hazzard's UCLA Bruins. That's next Saturday. College basketball, 3:45 Eastern, 12:45 Pacific, right here on CBS Sports.
And if it's in Pauley Pavilion, you know the Bruins will be tough.
They always are. Hugh Campbell told us his biggest concern coming into this game was protecting the quarterback from the Giants' defense, and you can see that the Giants have put a lot of pressure on Warren Moon, and they've sacked him 3 times.
Yes, he thought if he could get Moon the time that where they could exploit the Giants defensively the most would be in the secondary. And when he's had the time, he's done it.
Of course, Moon played for Campbell in Canada.
Good friends, and I know that part of this situation here with Campbell being in job trouble bothers Warren Moon a lot. They're not only coach and player, but they've been together a long time and are good friends.
3rd and 3 for the Oilers, 1:19 to go, and they have 2 timeouts left. Jerome Sally and Casey Merrill, 2 strong pass rushers, are in there, and the Giants showing a 4-man defensive front. They come out and Moon, and the pass intended for Tim Smith incomplete, and Lawrence Taylor was putting on pressure again. Elvis Patterson was covering Tim Smith, but Taylor stormed in.
All right, Taylor comes on a delayed blitz. Watch him now. Moon will be looking for Tim Smith. There's a delayed blitz right there. Big hole open. And again, that forest of arms to throw through, and he threw it behind Smith, but Taylor with the pressure.
So it is 4th down, and Lee Johnson will be kicking. Phil McConkey is back for the Giants. Beautiful kick, sends McConkey back to the 21. And down at the 30-yard line by Jeff Donaldson. 58-yard punt by Johnson, who's having a fine year. The NFL Today starts things off next Saturday at noon Eastern time. Legends of the game, the monsters of the Midway. We've been hearing a lot of that about the Chicago Bears, haven't we?
No question about it, and why not? They have been.
13-1 as a result of their victory. The Jets still tied for first at 10-4 with Miami and New England. That'll be quite a battle. Big sports weekend on CBS next Saturday and Sunday. 1:03 remaining in the first half. 28-14 the Giants lead. 1st and 10. Galbraith, the inside handoff, and Galbraith is going to have a first down for the Giants to the 42-yard line. Gain of 12. Quickly with 45 seconds remaining. The Giants still have all of their timeouts remaining. George Adams out of the backfield. Pass is caught at the 49-yard line. Gain of 6 there. Robert Abraham and Robert Lyles on the stop. And now the Giants will use their first timeout of this first half.
Out of the shotgun now, and they're only rushing 3 men, laying back. Sims had all kind of time. It's the easiest throw a quarterback can make is over the middle when there are no hands sticking up, no bodies to throw around. The very simplest throw, and he got it there.
The only negative concerning Phil Simms had been the turnovers. He had fumbled for the 15th time last week, although he has not lost all of those. And of course, Simms has thrown 15 interceptions, but he has been a sturdy quarterback who has stayed in the pocket against all kinds of defensive pressure.
You know, some people say that he's the victim of highlights because the Giants and the Jets sell out every week, that they see Simms and Ken O'Brien, the only 2 quarterbacks they see full time, and the other quarterbacks that they see, it's always in a highlight reel where the guy's throwing for touchdowns. And so it's called that kind of a syndrome, highlight syndrome.
You see those highlights and you think every player around the league is a world beater.
Right.
2nd and 5 at the Giant 48-yard line with 36 seconds to go. 7 defensive backs in there for the Oilers. They're playing a prevent defense against Sims. So he finds Galbraith out of the backfield. Good move by Tony, who runs out of bounds and stops the clock. A penalty flag is thrown at the 25-yard line. Gain of 27. Steve Brown made the play, and they may tack some more yards onto this.
Blow was to the shoulder. No foul. Flag will be picked up.
Gain of 27, no penalty, but the Giants will take it. They're in good position for at least 3 more.
Galbraith doing a smart thing now. He's going to try. He gets as much as he can out of the run and heads for the sideline, and that was the throw right there on the shoulder pad that they picked it up on. Steve Brown picked up the flag.
10-year veteran already has more receptions this year than he did last season. 1st and 10 at the 27-yard line of the Oilers. 28-14, the Giants lead. Again, Galbraith on the inside handoff. Another flag goes, and Galbraith is dropped at the 30-yard line. Stopping the clock with 22 seconds remaining. Cush and Bostic. That'll be against the Oilers. Keep in mind that if the Giants win their remaining games, they will win the NFC Eastern Division. So Dallas's loss today was not at all crucial to the Giant cause.
Offside, number 79, defense, still 1st down.
Ray Childress. It's now 1st and 5. So if the Giants beat the Oilers and then Dallas and Pittsburgh, because of their edge and division record over the Cowboys, they would win the division.
2 toughies, though.
And next week, it's the Giants and the Cowboys on CBS in that big collision. 1st and 5 at the 22. Sims for Bobby Johnson. He's there. Touchdown. Flag is down as well. Penalty marker down. Sims to Bobby Johnson, who beat Patrick Allen.
Patrick Allen in man-to-man coverage that time because the Oilers were in a blitzing situation. It was picked up well by the Giants' offensive line, and Sims had plenty of time to get it out there.
Defensive pass interference, number 29. Penalty decline.
It's against Allen. It'll be declined, and the touchdown will go on the board.
Allen, the 2nd year back there, number 29. Johnson by him right from the start. They threw a flag on that, but that was picked up. It didn't make any difference anyway.
It is 34-14 now, and Eric Schubert will try to add the 35th point. Giants have scored 34 and 33 in their previous 2 games, and now they have 35 in 1/2 over the Oilers. 35-14, and what a day it's been, not only for Bobby Johnson, who now has 6 touchdown receptions to lead the Giants, but for Phil Sims.
They won't let him look to see if he got a score out of it, but now he knows he did. Didn't do the boogie that time, but he was happy.
19 touchdown passes for Phil Sims, and the Giants, with 35 points, have already scored more points in a game than they have up to this time. We still have 17 seconds remaining in the 1st half. Four plays, 70 yards. And a good day for Sims.
216 yards. That's a young secondary we told you about. The Oilers have. The guy that calls their defensive signals back there, Bo Easton, the free safety, is only in his 2nd year, and Sims has really exploited them.
Who said the Giants have never played the Oilers in the Astrodome. They've only played them twice in the regular season and won both of those. Herky Walls bobbling it. Now is going to fall on it inside the 15-yard line. Oddly enough, the 2 victories by the Giants were at Yankee Stadium 12 years ago and at Giant Stadium 3 years ago, and in that game Butch Woolfolk scored both Giant touchdowns.
Well, it's always kind of a weird situation when you play a team you're not used to seeing and you haven't played them before. You know, films will tell you a lot, but you line up against a guy and it'll go through your mind. I couldn't tell on film that his arms were that big, or it doesn't show on films that he growls when he comes to the line of scrimmage, those kinds of things. So there's always a little bit of element of unknown when two teams get together when they haven't played each other.
You know, these teams did play this year in preseason, but that was in the Hall of Fame game in Canton, and that was eons ago.
It was in with squads of about 110, 120.
Ball at the 14-yard line for Warren Moon. Team is trailing 35-14. Moon gets it from behind, airs it out. The Giants are back there. And it's an interception. Ted Watts picks it off, the former Raider, and that had to be the easiest catch he'll ever make, like a center fielder.
Just going to throw it up and hope something good happens. It did not. Watts, number 21, backpedaling and got it before he stepped out of bounds. 4 seconds left on the clock for the Giants. Probably time to do the same thing if they want.
If they want. That's the way it looks. Watts with his first interception of the year. 11 different Giants have picked off enemy tosses. Giants at their own 38. Sims. Up for grabs. Intercepted. Steve Brown tries to lateral. Loose ball, but now the clock has run out.
Well, I tell you that, you know, young players will drive a coach nuts. There wasn't anybody close to him that time when he turned around and tried to lateral.
Looked like a rugby scrum. Well, the Giants got a scare, but 3 big touchdowns in the second quarter gives them that lead at halftime.
Burger King. Aren't you hungry for Burger King, Herb? And by Apple Computer, makers of the Macintosh and Apple II families of...
Giants explode late in the second quarter, and they lead it 35-14. Let's take a look at some of the highlights on this one, John.
Of course, his first run by Joe Morris here was a great individual effort. See, he forced the guy to miss a tackle there, 2, 3 tackles into the end zone. He did most of that on his own.
Let's send him to the Pro Bowl. Now, Bill Parcells was watching, and over here came Phil Sims.
2 touchdown passes in the first half for Phil. There's one right there for 10 yards from Mark Bavaro.
Now, watch this defensive play here. They're all over Moon. And then, hey, how about Lawrence Taylor as a runner here? Why don't they make a fullback out of him?
He would be an all-pro any place he wanted to play.
And from there, they hand it off to Joe. 17 touchdowns this year. That ties the Giant record. They weren't finished. From the shotgun, Sims and Johnson rack up 6 more for the Giants. You know, John, I was only half kidding, talking about Perry inside the 5 for the Bears. Now, why couldn't you line up Lawrence Taylor back there?
Probably because you wouldn't want to get him hurt. I mean, you know, he does so many other things. You know, he plays all the defense. He's on special teams, and I think you wouldn't want to get him worn down and get him there where those defensive guys on the other side would get shots at him.
Wouldn't they love that, though?
They'd love to get a hold of number 56.
All right, let's go back down now to the Houston Astrodome. Wayne Walker and Dick Stockton. Dick?
Thank you very much, Brent. And, of course, the one thing Hugh Campbell said, I got to protect my quarterback. And, of course, maybe if Hugh had been out there, he might have done a better job. But he was really under siege in that first half.
Well, he was. In the times that they did give him time, he performed pretty well. I think they're really in trouble now. They're in a situation where the Giants know they're going to have to pass, and it's going to be a tough second half for Warren Moon unless he gets some kind of help out there.
The Giants did respond impressively when the Oilers came back to tie it up 14-14, and they were perhaps looking at another tough struggle. But they really have played well on both sides of the ball because Sims has passed, and, of course, Joe Morris having a terrific day.
I think the first half went exactly like Bill Parcells thought it would. He told us before the game that he thought he could run really well against this Oiler team, and they did. They controlled the line of scrimmage. They mixed it up. Sims threw well, and I just expect more of the same from them in the second half, perhaps a little bit more on the ground.
Well, the Giants know that if they win 2 more games, they're in the playoffs, and if they win the rest, they're division champs, and right now they're looking good.
Sponsored by the new Chrysler Corporation. We don't want to be the biggest. We just want to be the best. And by light beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer. And less.
Joe Morris with 97 yards and 18 carries and 3 touchdowns. Leading the way for the Giants, who, with 35 points, the most points they've scored in any game this year. And that's what they have at halftime against the Houston Oilers. Let's take a look at the halftime statistics. Big edge to the Giants.
And look at the rushing yardage, too. You know, the Oilers started the game without a blocking back in there, and they really haven't attempted to run the ball much at all.
With Moon at quarterback, and you said that they're going to have to throw the ball, but at least he has that extra dimension of being a running quarterback.
We saw that a couple times, and he really does. And he's going to have to. I know he's going to be forced into it. They just have to throw the ball. They can't revert to a ground game now. They're behind. They're trailing. The Giants know that. So, he's already displayed his wares. He really has. You can tell just by watching him in his first half that he's got great ability. He's got a good arm when he had time. He got it in there. He moved around a little bit. He took some blows. He looked some people off. He can play the position, and he can play it well. He just needs some help.
Eric Schubert, of course, who missed that field goal in the final play against the Browns, and in practice this week they set it up on the right hash mark and clicked on a 34-yarder in practice to get back into things. We'll be kicking off to Willie Drury and Herky Walls as Houston will have possession first in the second half. This is the last home game of the season for the Oilers. They finished the season with 2 games in Cleveland and in Indianapolis. Herky Walls at the 5. Tries to break outside and can't go anywhere, and the play made by Byron Hunt.
That's about the best kick you can make on a kickoff. Just bury it in a corner over there on them. They really don't have anywhere to go.
Walls, in his second year from Texas, was on injured reserve early in the season, released, and then came back. So we'll see what Warren Moon does here on the Oilers' first possession. A critical fumble on the sack, and Lawrence Taylor's 25-yard jaunt, setting up Joe Morris's 3rd touchdown, looms large. 1st and 10 on the Oiler 19. Rozier and Wolfo in the on. Moon with the rollout. Going for Drew Hill in a crowd, and a flag is down. 2 Giant defenders, and they'll be called for a pass interference.
I think it'll be a face guarding call also, and that they're going to make over there on Perry Williams.
Kenny Hill also over there.
Defensive pass interference, number 28, will be accepted. First down.
2 penalties on the defense, and they'll go with the one that will get them a first down. That'll be 32 yards. Here's the end.
Think if he can see what happened. Watch the hands go up here now. Number 23, Perry Williams, he put his hands up without looking back, and that's face guarding.
So it gives the Oilers the ball right at midfield. 35-14. Houston struck with 2 touchdowns in less than a minute in the second quarter. They trailed by 3. Pass caught by Drew Hill. Close to the first down as he falls at the 40. Terry Kennard puts the seal on him.
Where is he? Where is he? Tell me. Don't.
And coming in, Perry Williams. Second down and 1, gain of 9 yards on the play. Moon has time. And the pass is incomplete. Drew Hill almost made a sensational catch. Perry Williams covering him step for step, and a terrific throw by Moon.
Boy, it's just a great effort, though, by Drew Hill. Watch him here as he turns back, and he sees the ball's a little bit overthrown, and watch him put on an extra jet right here. He can take off again and outstretch and get the ball in his fingers and not quite be able to haul it in.
You know, Drew Hill had to play in the shadow of Henry Ellard and Ron Brown, 2 great speedsters. Brown, the former Olympian, and Hill became excess baggage, and now he is the top speedster on this Houston team. 3rd down and 1. Carl Banks replaces Byron Hunt at outside linebacker. Flags fly, and the Oilers have the first down in any event. Warren Moon takes it himself. We have had an inordinate amount of penalties.
Offside, number 70, defense.
Leonard Marshall. 13 penalties so far in this game. They've been evenly distributed just about. 7 for the Giants, 6 against the Oilers. 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. Less than 2 minutes gone by here in the 3rd quarter. Moon steps up. Another flag down. And Tim Smith has it inside the 10. Good for 26 yards. But another penalty, the 14th of the game.
Holding, number 57, declined. First down.
That's a big one for the Oilers. Byron Hunt holding downfield.
Tim Smith and Mark Haynes now that you'll see right here. Smith lined up. Wide receiver right. Haynes has him all the way. He runs a post pattern over the middle here. And another great throw by Warren Moon. Look at that, right on the numbers.
Tim Smith with 5 catches now has gone over 100 yards. Came into the game 4th in receiving. So it's 1st and goal for the Oilers at the 9. Wayne, they're eating up chunks of real estate in a hurry here.
Bill Parcells said that their defense is better this year, but their lapses are also bigger. They've had a few.
Giant defender falls down, and Moon completes the pass to Tim Smith at the 5-yard line. Butch Woolfolk was in motion out there, and a Giant cornerback, Mark Haynes, made the hit. Kenny Hill had fallen.
You thought perhaps that when Woolfolk went in motion, watch Kenny Hill go down out there, that Moon was looking there, but he wasn't. He was looking short to Smith and got it in again.
Tim Smith having a fine afternoon. 2nd and goal. 12.5 minutes to go in the 3rd. Quick toss to Woolfolk, who's bottled up quickly by Kennard. And now it'll be 3rd and goal. And it gets tougher for the Oilers now.
Woolfolk, an excellent receiver coming out of the backfield. It's so important once they get across a line of scrimmage in that situation to read the defense and look back immediately at the quarterback. So the quarterback doesn't have to hold it a long time if he's got problems back there. Woolfolk's done that well a couple of times.
Butch has 68 catches on the year to lead the Oilers. 3rd and goal on the 3. Larry Moriarty and Mike Rozier are the backs. Rozier not going to get in and is stopped short. 2 yards from the goal, and it's 4th down. They try to test the Giants on the ground.
Just absolutely nothing there this time. Dressel, number 88, in motion to tie it in, comes back and tries to get a block and just can't budge the pile at all.
It's 4th down, and the Oilers, who trailed by 3 touchdowns and 5 and 8 on the year, have the luxury of going for it, and that would seem to be the call. Get 6 while you can, if you can. Moon's pass incomplete. Jamie Williams, the tight end, couldn't hold on. And he was covered by Lawrence Taylor. So the Giants take over on downs after the Oilers had 1st and goal at the 9-yard line.
But he was there, and it was underthrown just a little bit. Watch it here. Play action pass shouldn't fool anybody in that situation. That's why Taylor was back there. He wasn't drawn in at all in play action, but the ball was underthrown. Williams was open, and he knows it.
Warren Moon just couldn't get it in. The newspapers, they were saying the clock is running on Hugh Campbell. They just about said these are his last 3 games. Pretty harsh. And of course, this has been tough going for any coach since Bum Phillips left.
Well, it hasn't. Isn't it kind of funny that in that same paper today that Bum Phillips' name was mentioned? So maybe be back here. Well, without that.
The Oilers are 18 and 53 since Bum was fired in 1980, and he had an 11-5 record that year. So Morris and Carpenter, the backs 1st and 10 on the 3-yard line after the Giants defense held on 4th down. Rob Carpenter hit by Robert Lyles to the 5-yard line, gain of 2. Carpenter, an 8-year veteran, was acquired from the Oilers 4 years ago, and this is his first visit to Houston since that deal. Second and 8. Vito Cab is in as a second tight end. Into the line, Carpenter again. Ray Childress makes the stop. And flags fly. That's more penalty flags than I've ever seen thrown on one play, Wayne. And they're dragging. I mean, it's like they're dragging a garbage bag underneath there, and it's a giant player.
A weird situation right from the start on that play. Sims took his hands out from under the center to motion, which you're not supposed to be allowed to do.
That's Billy Ard. Avon Riley was also involved, and Billy Ard, the left guard, in the line. Let's pick up Bob McElwee first.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 53 defense. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 67 offense. Offsetting foul.
Riley and Ard, the principals here, and a bloody nose for Billy Ard.
There's 67, way up at the top is where it starts. He was down and got up and went after Avon Riley, and they penalized them both. Now, what actually started it all, we don't know.
Ard goes out. The players were not tossed out of the game because Riley is still in there. Ard has been replaced by David Jordan out of Auburn in his second year. There's Riley. 3rd down and 7. Giants at the 6. Just under 10 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Giants leading 35-14. They're going to let Joe Morris carry it. And Morris is stopped short of a first down. Ray Childress. Big play for him. He missed all of camp, and they think he could be the AFC or the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Well, he's had a pretty good year for him. There's no question about that. 3rd in tackles on the team. He never takes it down off and hustles all over the field.
Only the 2nd Giant punt upcoming. Sean Landetta and Willie Drury is back. And the Oilers could find themselves with good field position. High kick by Landetta. Drury on the run at the 45 is hit, and another penalty flag is down. Elvis Patterson came in strong on the play, but there's another flag down. Drury returned it into Giant territory.
Illegal block, number 23 on the run back.
Richard Johnson, the rookie defensive back.
There it is from the shoulder, a little bit behind. Pushed him on by. I don't know how guys think they can get away with that. I mean, he's right down there in the middle of the field, wide open in front of everybody, and then tries to get away with it. Just not very smart.
They call that just about every game, many times, too. Wayne Walker back in the Astrodome, where the Giants lead 35-14. And hello to our viewers in Utica, New York. The Oilers, who had a 1st and goal at the 9 and couldn't score, have the ball on their own 43-yard line. 1st and 10. Mike Rozier back for block for Moon, who's going deep for Drew Hill, and Hill is there. He beat the defense, Perry Williams, with ease. And a big play, and the Oilers have another opportunity.
Drew Hill, sensational day. Number 23 is Perry Williams, and once again he misses him at the bump and run right at the line of scrimmage and is beat right off the bat. Kenny Hill, 48, trying to get over, but he's late. But it was Perry Williams who looked like man-to-man on Drew Hill.
Warren Moon's having a good game and is enjoying himself right there. Hill has caught 6 passes for 103 yards. So Smith and Hill are over 100 in this game. And it's 1st and goal at the 9. Familiar territory for the Oilers. They've been there before this quarter. pressure. But the pass is caught by Jamie Williams inside the 5. Terry Kennard making the tackle.
Hot receiver again now. You'll see Lawrence Taylor top of the screen come in untouched on the blitz, but Moon will get it quickly to the tight end. Read it. It's a blitz read by both of them. Williams will see Taylor go on in. Nobody will pick him up. But there's the throw quickly inside. Good read by both men.
2nd and goal on the 3. Moon has thrown for 252 yards and has 2 touchdown passes to his credit. Wilfolk in motion. Moon looking. It's batted up. And let's see if the Giants intercepted on a deflection. No, they did not. The pass is incomplete. Byron Hunt got a hand on it. And it'll be 3rd down.
Any question why the Giants have a 6'5" linebacker playing over on that side? Here it is right there. You like to have your big guys playing that side of the field. They drop back and create a lot of problem for a quarterback, and most teams are right-handed.
Jamie Williams, the tight end, appeared to be the intended receiver. So it's 3rd and goal on the 3. Keep in mind the Oilers were stopped on 4th down with an incompleted pass last time they had the ball. Moon fires. Tim Smith just out of the end zone. And it's 4th down. They like to play things dangerously, these Oilers.
Says he can gun it, can he, Moon? He showed us his arm several times today. It's another example. Haynes passes him over to the middle. Kenny Hill has him back there, but not a bad throw again, and it got there so quickly.
So now Hugh Campbell's Oilers are faced with 4th down. They had a 1st and goal at the 9. Now it's 4th and goal at the 3. Giants blitz, and the pass intended for Woolfolk is thrown onto the turf, and the Giants have held again. Giant defense holds firm on 2 4th down plays inside the 5. Gary Reason's defending, and a score remains 35-14 Giants.
Job by Lawrence Taylor on that last play. Watch him right here. Jamie Williams, the tight end, will take an outside release. Taylor gets a chuck on him and then falls back in here. Gets a little piece of Woolfolk coming in here on that flare pattern. Made him stumble a little bit, and that created a problem. Went to check. It's a little piece right there of Woolfolk. Right there again. Threw him off step. And he was a step away from the ball.
So the Giants again hold and now have the ball on their 3-yard line. Carthen and Morris are the running backs. Joe Morris trying to get some room, shakes a couple of tacklers. And Joe Morris, whistle had blown. Tackle was made at the 22-yard line by Keith Bostic and Patrick Allen. And Joe Morris has gone over the 100-yard mark for the 5th time this year.
Until you're right, Dick. You know, they call him Little Joe, but it's only because he's short. He can run through some arms and break tackles. Good balance, tremendously strong from the waist down, and they call that down.
And another Giant record falls by the wayside, thanks to Joe Morris. 5 times this year he has gained 100 or more yards. He has 3 touchdowns in the game, giving him 17. One more and he'll set another record.
You really got to wrap him up. He's run through a lot of tackles here today.
1st and 10 at the 26-yard line, under 7 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Giants lead by 3 touchdowns. Morris hit at the 30-yard line. When Bill Parcells was talking about his stamina and carrying the ball, this is his 21st carry of the ball game, and it looks like he's getting quite the workout today.
Well, he is. We talked about that earlier, that he said that's one of the things he had to watch on him. He didn't think he could carry the ball 30 to 35 times a game.
Comes out of the ball game, replaced by George Adams, who the Giants like very much. Top draft pick out of Kentucky. 2nd and 6 at the 30. No scoring in this 3rd quarter thus far. Sims. Penalty marker down, completes the pass to his tight end Mark Bavaro, who goes out of bounds. Should be enough for the 1st down. Steve Brown chased him, but that yellow flag again. Pickup of 12 yards if it goes. penalty will be against the Giants. Will wipe out that first down for Bill Parcells.
Tripping, number 89, offense.
It was the receiver, Mark Bavaro, who doesn't agree.
Bavaro is left of your screen right here, pass blocking. Childress comes in and he leg whips him down. That's the call right there. Bavaro will get up and then get in on the play and, of course, make the reception, but he was guilty of leg whipping on Childress, the rookie.
15 penalties. Second down, 16. Giants back to the 20. Carpenter in the game. So is Phil McConkey. Sims hit as he lets go. Incomplete. Bavaro, the intended receiver. Keith Bostic, and words exchanged between the two of them.
Bostic is a strong safety responsible for Bavaro. Look at the struggle they're having all the way across. They had some contact at first. Bostic comes in as the ball's thrown a little bit behind him and takes him away from it, and then they're still going to talk some more here.
Well, you know about Bavaro, but in Houston they think Bostic is a budding star, likes to hit, does well covering those tight ends. Forces a 3rd and 16 for Sims out of the shotgun. Inside handoff. Galbraith almost stopped in his tracks, and Bostic came up to help make the play.
Bostic on a blitz that time, lined up right at the line of scrimmage, and as you said, used a little bit of power he has, and he has a lot for a defensive back.
But Wayne, you got to start asking yourself as Landeta comes in to punt, how much of a better opportunity can the Oilers have than twice having 1st and goal inside the 10, coming up empty as Drury goes back.
And I thought strange play selection. They're only looking for one guy out there, and when they get in close, it's Tim Smith all the time. When they're out in the middle field, they look for Drew Hill.
Oilers were looking to get a piece of that kick. Fair catch called for by Drury. Loses the ball, fumble, and the Oilers may still have it.
Here it is, and it does bounce around. It was out before he hit the ground. Look who's down there on it again.
Richard Johnson wound up with the ball. That's the time remaining in the 3rd quarter, with the Giants leading 35-14. There have been no scoring in this quarter after the Giants rolled up 3 touchdowns, breaking a 14-14 tie in the 2nd quarter. Minnesota leading Tampa Bay in the 3rd quarter. Seattle over Cleveland. That AFC Central Division race is a tight one. Cincinnati winning today. Raiders and the Broncos are all even in the 4th. 1st and 10 Oilers on their 36. Pass is complete to Jamie Williams, the tight end, who has a first down into Giant territory. At the 43, Perry Williams and Terry Kennard the tackle. So 12 of the Oilers' 13 plays in this half have been through the air.
One way to protect your quarterback is you have him drop back and get rid of it extremely quickly. He did that time. Jamie Williams running a kind of a seam pattern, tight end straight down the field against the zone. Effective if you get it to him before he gets to the safeties, and Warren Moon did.
At the Giant 44, they mark it. Intercepted. Perry Williams. Perry Williams gets by Rozier and runs out of bounds when he saw big Harvey Salem bearing down on him, and Perry Williams with the interception, his 2nd of the season.
And a gift interception it is, as Moon just overthrows Tim Smith, number 83. Plenty of time here. No pressure on him. Smith makes a turn. The ball's high. Perry Williams gets a gift. Rozier has a beat on him, number 33 right here. And watch the defensive back give him a move. A little stutter and go.
And a little straight arm down on him. So Perry Williams with his 2nd interception of the season. The Oilers have turned it over 3 times in this game. Ted Watts has an interception as well. Joe Morris up the middle to the 37-yard line. tackle by Avon Riley and Ray Childress. They're the standings in the NFC East right now. Dallas losing to Cincinnati. The Redskins beating the Eagles. So Washington still has playoff hopes. And, of course, the Giants and Dallas in a very important game. Giant victory. They go on and win this game, and then their final game of the year against Pittsburgh, the Giants will win the NFC East title. 2nd and 4 at the 38 now. Carpenter. And a good open field tackle by Alan Lyday from Nebraska, a free agent. The difference for the Giants in being a wild card or winning the division outright, which they can control, is the fact that if they are a wild card team, they must play that extra game and then play the Bears in Chicago right off the bat. Now, everyone thinks the Super Bowl will run through Chicago sooner or later, but the Giants would rather win the division and then have one less game.
Well, it might run through San Francisco, too. And remember, the Cowboys have to play the 49ers also.
Final game of the season. 3rd and 3 at the 37. 2:38 to go in the 3rd. Sims in trouble. Jesse Baker and Brian Sauché. Baker came into the game leading the team in sacks, and a penalty marker is down. Tough break for the Oilers. Thought they knocked Sims back in his own territory. Defensive holding is the preliminary call.
Number 25, defense, 5 yards, automatic first down.
Keith Bostic, and it's an automatic first down, and that's what really hurts here.
I wonder if he was having fun with Bavaro again.
He won't be having fun when they look at the film. First down for the Giants at the 32 of Houston. So at this point, the Giants don't appear to be having one of their slumber parties against teams that they are expected to beat. Sims fires it, nearly intercepted by Avon Riley, went through his hands.
Throwing on 1st and 10, not a bad choice, but they've been so successful running the ball today. Knew they would be, or thought they would be, at least coming into this game. Of course, the strange thing when you look at this Oiler defense, Dick, is the fact that one of their safeties, Bo Eason, leads the team in tackles with 123, and Bostic, the young guy we've been talking about, is up there too. And, you know, when that happens, you're just not getting it done up front.
And how about Rod Cush, who is the nickelback, who is 2nd on the team in sacks? Now, you know, you're really not getting it done up front. Maurice Carthen joins Morris in the backfield. Another flag down, and Morris, with a head of steam, runs out of bounds, picks up the first down at the 20-yard line. Alan Lyday making the hit. And another flag, and Morris has to get untangled from those seats on the far side. And limping is Joe Morris. Penalty appears to be against New York.
Illegal motion. Offense. Back was going forward.
But Joe Morris looks like he's hurting a bit. Happened on the far side, Wayne.
Banged up at the end of this run. He's bumped right here and then runs into some chairs and benches and such over on the sideline. But banged up a little bit coming out of that. It might be a good time to get that horse to the barn.
Adams replaces Morris, who has gained 132 yards. Sims is going deep, and nearly making a great catch was Johnson. Covered well downfield by Patrick Allen. Good throw by Sims.
I'll tell you, it was good everything. Good throw by Sims. Good effort by Johnson. Allen's right with him. This would have been a great catch. The ball's right out there on his fingertips. You know he'd love to come up with it. A hand got in there by Allen, and that pulled his elbow down a little bit, and that really caused the bobble.
Bobby Johnson has caught a touchdown pass. He now leads the club with 6 scores. Sims is 0 for 3 passing in the second half. Faces 3rd and 15 at the 38. Sims going deep. No one there. Lewinsky was the closest to it, as well as George Adams, but that was about 10 yards beyond them. So it's 4th down, and Sean Landeta will come in to kick as Joe Morris nurses his right leg. Morris is telling everyone who has checked him that he feels all right.
I'm sure he just probably, cracked a shin or an ankle or something over there on those chairs and is all right.
So Landeta will kick. Willie Drury. Drury, 11th round draft pick from West Virginia. Landeta kicking it short. Kennard downs it at the 2. That worked to perfection for the Giants. Taking a look at the NFC East standings, the AFC East standings, New England, Miami, and the New York Jets tied for first. Quite a battle royal for division champion and playoff berths. And next Saturday on the NFL Today, Monsters of the Midway are the legends of the game at noon Eastern time. And then the battle between one of those 3 contenders, the Jets and the Chicago Bears, who's only lost this year to the Miami Dolphins. And they'll be playing at Giant Stadium.
It's so important for teams that are playoff bound, as those 2 are, to be playing well at the end of the year. What you did early in the year doesn't count right now.
Walter Payton went over 100 yards for the 9th straight week to extend his NFL record. Moon being chased and completes the pass miraculously and may even have a first down. Jamie Williams, the tight end, stopped by Kenny Hill, and that was a gutty play by Warren Moon, who looked like he was going down for a safety. Leonard Marshall chasing.
Yeah, we told you right at the top of the telecast, he's not as nifty as guys like Montana, and people is not quite as quick, but he's tremendously strong. Now he's got Marshall hanging on him here. When he releases the ball, it takes a strong man to get rid of it with 275 pounds on you.
He has attempted 34 passes, which usually means your team is trailing. The Oilers get it out to the 15-yard line, trailing 35-14 with 1 minute remaining in the 3rd quarter. Moon. Butch Woolfolk makes a good catch, pass thrown behind him at the 20. Butch has caught 5 passes today, and that's what the Oilers have done when they've had the ball.
They've had to throw the ball, no question about it. The only thing that bothers me about their offense today is the fact that once they get inside the 15 or 10-yard line, they haven't really had anything special except that one delay pass to the tight end that worked for them. The other times they got in there, they were running the same kind of things that they ran out on the field, and it didn't look like they had anything planned for inside the 20.
2nd and 5. Moon. Tim Smith just beyond his reach. Lawrence Taylor was covering him, and it's 3rd down now. And it seemed that when the Oilers got that close, everything was bunched inside, even those short passes.
Right, exactly right.
What a game Taylor has played today. He's recovered a fumble and run 25 yards. Now the Giants want to call a timeout because they wanted to get their nickel team on there and couldn't do it. The Oilers lined up in a hurry. No flag has been thrown. Question is, do the Giants get their timeout? And they did. Oh, that was a gutty call by the Giants. Quick thinking when it looked like they might have been burned.
A smart play by whoever called it.
The Giant coaches are in the booth next to us, and they were yelling alert. Somebody down there was. So the Giants use up a timeout. We're seeing a lot more of that. You pointed it out. Cincinnati used it against Houston. We saw it in the Dallas-Cincinnati game today. And, of course, the Giants against the Oilers early. And that is lining up, not letting that nickel package get on the field.
That's right. And in this day of specializing, they're trying to keep the specialists out by doing that.
Minnesota leading Tampa Bay. That's the same score. 4th quarter now. Seattle rolling over Cleveland. Dave Craig, 4 touchdown passes in that game. The Raiders and the Broncos are still tied 14-14, and that's for first place in the AFC West. team who have clinched a playoff berth in the NFC.
Yes, they haven't. The Giants came close today. The situation that's going on for them now, they win this ball game, and if it would have worked out that if Washington would have lost and Green Bay would have lost and Detroit would have lost, then they would have clinched the playoff spot. But the Redskins fouled that up for them by winning.
The Giants know that the game for them is the Dallas Cowboys if they had gotten by Houston. And they're at a comfortable 35-14 margin now, and I don't think the Giants are sweating too much, knowing that the Oilers have had 2 golden opportunities and the Giant defense have snuffed them out both times. 3rd and 5 at the 20. 16 seconds remain in the 3rd quarter. Pressure on Moon. Terry Kennard giving him a run for his money, and the pass knocked up in the air, incomplete, intended for Jamie Williams. Elvis Patterson defending on the play.
Lawrence Taylor come in on a blitz right here. He's lined up here, and once it's really a fine block by Rozier, number 33, former Heisman Trophy winner, that will really save Warren Moon on this. Don't expect this guy to do that to someone like Taylor, but he did. He upended him. Moon flushed out and then got the playoff. He would have been fair game for number 56 had Rozier not made that good block.
Lee Johnson punting on 4th down. Phil McConkey back for the Giants. The final seconds tick off in this 3rd quarter. McConkey on the run is down at the 43, and that'll do it. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. The Giants 35, the Oilers 14. We now pause for a word from your local station.
Coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by light beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. And by AC Delco, the smart parts.
Dick Stockton and Wayne Walker as we start the 4th quarter here at the Astrodome in Houston, and the Giants have kept the Houston crowd silent for the most part to the tune of 35-14. Phil Simms with 2 touchdown passes. Joe Morris has scored 3 times, and the Giants with a 1st and 10 on their own 43. George Adams. And Adams to the 49-yard line, gain of 6. Robert Abraham, the inside linebacker, makes the stop. The Oilers, despite their loss to Cincinnati last week, had won 4 of their last 7 games. Their problems came early when they won their opening game over Miami and then dropped 5 in a row. They've been treading water since for Hugh Campbell. 2nd and 4 at the 49. Adams again. Close to the 1st down marker. Doug Smith, former USFL performer. 2nd-round draft pick out of Auburn last year. Big fella.
Big, I guess. Over 300 pounds. There's a lot of those guys in the league now. Only one of them getting a lot of publicity.
We're going to have a timeout for a measurement right now. There's Joe Morris, who, remember, limped off the field when he ran into some of the seats on the far side. And Joe's going back in. That's the kind of year that Joe Morris has had this season. And now he's coming back out of the ball game. There's Linda, his wife, with a good friend, Regina Woolfolk, and now they see themselves on the big screen here. We found them, didn't we? 3rd and 1. Giants are short in their bid for the 1st down. Parkin has it with ease. Donaldson makes the tackle. Lawrence Taylor, big factor defensively for the Giants today.
He doesn't take any downs off, or he sure hasn't this afternoon. He played hard, hustled all over the field, hustled down on punts, and all it was asked of him.
Well, Well, many times a guy like Lawrence Taylor will be picked up by a lineman and doubled, and someone else is going to go in and get the big plays and make the highlight film, but his presence makes it happen.
You're just not going to be named the MVP of this league every year. He's done it twice, and you just don't have those kinds of years all the time. I mean, how many years did Ted Williams hit 400? Didn't make him a bad hitter when he hit 350.
No. First and 10 or even 330. Adams is hit at the line of scrimmage for no gain. Under 13 minutes remaining. Robert Abraham makes the tackle. Giants like Adams, and they feel he's a sturdy kind of back who perhaps can carry some 30 times down the line in a few years.
He feels that they feel that he's their most complete back. Catch the ball extremely well coming out of the backfield. He's also the fullback type. You can put him over there with Morris in the same backfield, and he's a good blocker for you.
Second and 10 at the Oiler 42. Sims completes the pass. Byron Williams to the 35-yard line, shy of a first down by 2 yards.
Williams is a man in motion right here and just runs a slant underneath and short. Underused, they said before the game. They've gotten the ball to him this afternoon with regularity.
Steve Brown makes the tackle. Lionel Manuel, of course, out for the rest of the year with a hamstring. Williams, who caught 24 passes last year, getting into the flow a lot more now. 3rd and 3 for the Giants at the Oiler 35. Adams. Penalty marker down, and Adams has the first down, showing his outside moves, and that will be nullified on a holding penalty against the Giants. Abraham and Brown finally brought the rookie from Kentucky down.
Holding number 61, offense. Still 3rd down.
Chris Godfrey, the right guard. 10 penalties marked off against the Giants today.
Godfrey is number 61. We mentioned with a takedown right there of Richard Byrd, number 71.
Giants almost in 100 yards of penalties, but the scoreboard shows them leading 35-14. We have not had any scoring in the second half as of yet. At the Oiler 45. Showing blitz, and here they come. Sims gets it off in a hurry, and the pass intended for Bobby Johnson. Incomplete. Good coverage, Patrick Allen. Sims didn't have much time to release that ball.
No, it was kind of that Bears situation where they sink the defensive end in, and so it's 3 up the middle on 3, and they shot a safety up in there too, and it was Jesse Baker that came in open on Sims and created that hurried throw.
Landetta in the kick. Drury standing at his 10-yard line. Heading for the sidelines, stays in bounds and then knocked out of bounds by Carthen inside the 10-yard line, and we'll take a timeout. They did not come close to a capacity crowd for this game in the Astrodome, and the fans have been as quiet as you could be. And Wayne, do you remember a game that had such little atmosphere as this one?
No, I tell you, they could play taps in here. I don't think anybody would realize it. They just showed a commercial on the Giant screen here a few moments ago with Dan Pastorini, the old quarterback, doing a pitch man for a local car dealer, and that brought the biggest roar of the afternoon, and half of those were boos. It's been a strange one.
It was Carl Nelson with the ice pack. 1st and 10 for the Oilers on their 8-yard line. Moon incomplete. Like it was thrown straight down on the ground. Moon, those numbers, a season high for attempts and yardage. The most completions he's had this year are 24. Last time the Oilers had a winning year, they were 11-5 under Bum Phillips, and they canned them. 1980. by Carl Banks at the 10-yard line, and that'll just go for a 2-yard gain. Well, next Sunday, what a special studio guest, Johnny Yu.
Well, he was a tough one, I'll guarantee you. Could do it all. And you know what he could do also? You know, he could run around pretty good back there before you were supposed to be able to do things like that.
The big game, the Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. Giants will go 9-5 if they hold their 3-touchdown lead. Cowboys lost to Cincinnati, so they're playing for the division lead in the NFC East. Check your local listings next Sunday on CBS. 3rd down and 6 now to 12. Moon. Double pumps, and Butch Woolfolk holds onto the ball. He appears to be shy of a 1st down. Lawrence Taylor was right there with the hit. It looks like the Giants are giving Houston that underneath pattern and then splattering the receivers when they make the catch.
Yeah, they had 3 deep zones that time, playing it loose. It's that time of the game.
Crowd is booing because Lee Johnson, the punter, is coming on 4th and 1 at the 17-yard line, and the Oilers trailing by 3 touchdowns. Well, when you have a 1st and goal at the 9 as McConkey goes back twice and can't score, that's got to take a lot of wind out of your sails, and that's what the Oilers have had to face in this second half. So that's Johnson. End over end. McConkey at the 38. Phil will go out of bounds at the 42-yard line. 9:21 remaining in this game. It's been the Giants. To the real thing, nothing like having a picture of your hero taped to your chest, and the Giant loyalists have come to Houston. We had a lot of fireworks early. The Giants led 14-0. The Oilers tied it up at 14, and then the Giants opened it up with 3 touchdowns in the second, and that's been the last scoring we've seen. 1st and 10 for New York on their own 42-yard line. George Adams. Head down, picks up from 5 yards. Robert Abraham, Jesse Baker make the tackle. Let's recap some final scores for you today. The AFC East contenders all won. The Patriots over the Lions. The Bears bounced back from their loss Monday night to Miami to beat the Colts. Not that easy, though. Kansas City over Atlanta. Miami didn't suffer that much of a letdown, I guess.
Tough coming back after a big Monday night win.
Cardinals' 5th win of the year, beating the Saints. 2nd and 5 for Sims. Adams again. Stopped shy of midfield. It'll be 3rd and about 2. Ray Childress and Jets beat Buffalo. They've got the Chicago Bears on CBS next Saturday. Redskins beat the Eagles.
Philadelphia led throughout that game.
Cincinnati trounced the Dallas Cowboys. Games that are still underway. Minnesota. Seattle. And still tied between the Raiders and the Broncos. 3rd down and 2. Adams is not going to make it. Piled up for no gain. It'll be 4th down, and Landetta will come in and punt for the Giants. Frank Bush and Ray Childress make the stop. Landetta from Baltimore was at the USFL. Drury with a lot of speed. Could be a future wide receiver prospect for this Oiler team. .7:15 showing on the clock. You don't know whether he's having a good time because that smile is always etched on him.
Yeah, that's for sure. Tough time of year, you know, Dick. Tough time of ball game for a team like Houston, with nothing to look forward to down the line, with really nothing to look forward to in this game. In my 15 years, I was in that situation more times than I wanted to be in Detroit. There's just not much you can do. Just go out there and play for pride, look around, see who's playing hard along with you, and you can tell a lot about each other in these stages of a ball game and these stages of a season, and that's really about the best thing you can get out of them.
Drury, who's got things to prove. The young players certainly do. brought down at about the 26. Well, Saturday, CBS Sports coverage of NCAA basketball continues. This should be a good one because St. John's has come on strong so far this year. Walter Berry against UCLA, and how tough are the Bruins at Pauley Pavilion?
Walt Hazard will have them ready, that's for sure.
Saturday, 3:45 Eastern, 12:45 Pacific, here on the home of the NCAA Championship, CBS Sports. They're in overtime at Mile High Stadium, and the Raiders and the Broncos are all tied. The winner takes over undisputed possession of first place in the AFC West if there is a winner.
Their second overtime game of the year.
1st and 10 Oilers on their 25. But Warren Moon all the way, and he's gone deep this time for Drew Hill. Perry Williams covering. Herb Welch is also back there.
You know, Drew Hill does have another gear. You know, as we mentioned, he was just one of 4 guys with the Rams that could burn. But on this team, it looks like he's found another jet to add to his system.
60 minutes will follow football. Second and 10 on the 25, and most of the fans are long gone here at the Astrodome. A couple of weeks ago, the Oilers were only 2 games behind the leaders. Moon completes the pass to Drury, who's getting an opportunity and has a first down. Well, there's an example of kind of opportunity you can have if you're a young player on a team like this. Lawrence Taylor and Perry Williams make the play. It's an 18-yard pickup. Because Wayne, after last week, seeing what the Vikings did to the Eagles when it was 23-0, and the Vikings never stopped coming on defense, anything might happen. Of course, not likely against a strong team and a weak team as we have here.
No, it's not likely at all. I don't think that's ever likely to happen at a game that you and I are at.
We're still shaking our heads. 1st and 10 at the 44. Moon completes it to Smith, and a first down for the Oilers. At the Giant 42, Perry Williams. He's had a busy day today, covering just about everyone.
Well, he's going to be busy with Smith because, you know, if he doesn't look for Drew Hill long, he goes in the progression system over the middle and that medium range pattern to Smith. And if that's not there and he has time, then he'll go to one of the backs.
Tim Smith has caught 7 passes for 120 yards. Clock running here in the 4th quarter. 1st and 10 at the 42. Moon gone deep for Butch Woolfolk. And Butch is there. No, it's knocked away. And a fine defensive play by Kenny Hill, and it looked like Woolfolk was going to make it, and he has a few words for the official down in the end zone.
Hill got there right at the end right here and got a hand in there. Folk turns it on. Moon's got the ball in the air right now. Kenny Hill really never gets a look at the ball. He sees him catch it, gets a hand around, and pulls it out. Good defensive play.
Woolfolk this week didn't have any criticism for the Giants, but he had criticism for the New York press, who he kind of claimed criticized his character.
Well, they like his character down here, that's for sure. He's one of those guys that fit in, and Hugh Campbell said he's been an example at practice, in ball games, meetings, everywhere.
And the Giants have no complaints with what they've got. 2nd and 10. Moon. And a terrific catch. And now the official says he did not hold on to it. Drury, defended by Ted Watts, almost made a fine catch.
Great effort by both guys, really. You just have to give them both credit. Watch Drury go up because this ball's way overthrown. Gets his hands on it, catches it with his face mask, and just popped on out of there, and Watts stayed right with him also.
Watts treated him like a Thanksgiving turkey.
Yeah. Make a wish.
He wanted a drumstick. 3rd and 10. 5:09 showing on the clock. 35-14 Giants. Penalty flag. Moon. Down. Loss of a yard. See who got him. Looked like a shoe top tackle by Elvis Patterson. Penalty will be against the Giants, however. Taylor's been working hard today, and he's still in there. trying to protect the 3-touchdown lead.
This is the time of game where you want to be in there, really, if you're a defensive player. You can, you know, it really is kind of garbage time. I know you use that term in the NBA, but it really is. You know, they're throwing the ball. You might be able to get an interception. You know you're going to get the blitz a little bit. Have some fun. Make things happen.
He's not that many sacks away from taking over the league lead. Came in 12 and a half. 3rd down and 5. Moon. Gone deep. And Drew Hill was the intended receiver. The pass came up short. Ted Watts was defending, and it's 4th down.
Talk about Taylor having some fun. Watch him right here now. He'll start in on a blitz here and then take it in up over the middle. Trying to get to the sack. That's designed, of course. Watch him swing it up in there now. Moon sees him coming and bails out. Had to throw somewhat on the move. So Taylor, although he didn't get close, made something happen that time.
4th and 5, and the Oilers are going for it, trailing 35-14. No scoring in the second half of this game. 4:34 remaining. And Marshall going after Moon, whose pass is incomplete. Jamie Williams, the intended receiver, and Elvis Patterson is covering. Patterson had been the starter at cornerback in his second year out of Kansas and played well, but Mark Haynes took over the starting role today, and Patterson did not seem to mind when he told Parcell. Upstate New York. Ever been to that pizza place?
I'm afraid I haven't.
Huh?
Have you?
No, but they tell me the mushroom's good. There are a lot of New York fans here in Houston, and I think there are more Giant banners than Oiler banners.
They're flocked around the Giants Hotel yesterday when they arrived.
1st and 10 at the 37 with 4:29 to go. Adams. Giants have had the ball 5 times in the second half and have punted all 5 times. Big weekend of NFL football next week on CBS. The Bears and the Jets. And then on Sunday, the Giants and the Cowboys. The Cowboys beat the Giants by 1 point earlier this season at Giants Stadium. And remember, last year, the Giants beat the Cowboys in Dallas 19-7 to complete a sweep of their 2-game series. It'll be a big weekend for New York football fans. Carthen blocking for Adams, who stopped shy of the 40-yard line. Joe Morris with another brilliant day. Had 3 touchdowns last week against the Browns, 3 more today, and 132 yards. He's gained 263 yards the last 2 games.
22 carries today, and we thought earlier that he'd go over the 30 mark. It seemed like he did, as much as he was carrying the ball early in this game.
17 touchdowns on the year, tying a Giant record. Scored the 3 today, and reminder that 60 minutes will follow. Stacy Robinson, who was activated when Manuel went on injured reserve. Rookie from North Dakota State, number 81, is in the game, his 3rd wide receiver. 3rd and 8 for Sims at the 39-yard line. Sims' pass, and now they say the pass is complete. Phil McConkey, and that'll be a 1st down. So Navy beating Army yesterday. How to make Phil McConkey feel awfully good today.
I'll tell you, Bill Parcells wasn't too choked up about it, though, was he?
No.
When we talked to him, stays right in here, and then we see a little steeplechase act right here.
Didn't knock a cup down, did he?
It's the dressage part of the game.
That was the trick for McConkey. Don't knock those cups down. Midfield, 1st and 10, Giants. 2:50 remaining. Bill Sims all the way at quarterback. Joe Morris adds a yard to his total of 132. And tempers Flair, and that's quite a hold. Brad Benson. Doug Smith.
Hey, Benson's had a good year for the Giants, and say that all the Giants organization proud of that guy. They really felt that he has made himself a player with hard work. Had extremely good games this year against the tough ends in the league, and as you can see right there, he'll fight till the bitter end.
Harry Carson talking things over with a friend. I don't think he'll be doing that against the Cowboys next week. I just have a hunch. 2:06 to go, and Phil Simms will let the 2-minute clock run down. And want to remind you, tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes, and then All-Star Party for Dutch Reagan, the 10th annual Circus of Stars. We'll be back to the rapidly emptying Astrodome in just a moment. Good morning here at the Astrodome. Giants will move into a first-place tie with the Dallas Cowboys, and that will be untied next week when they meet Texas Stadium. Joe Morris scored 3 touchdowns today for the Giants. Warren Moon threw scores to Jamie Williams and Tim Smith. Bobby Johnson caught his 6th touchdown pass of the year to take over the Giant lead in that department. Mark Bavaro caught a pass for a score. Bill Parcells, Byron Hunt yucking it up down on the sideline. Lawrence Taylor in some hijinks. That may be champagne later in the season. Morris stopped for no gain.
Is that symbolic, like Red Auerbach's cigar when he does that?
Well, looking at Harry Carson talking to some fans and Taylor dumping water on people on the sideline, do you think the Giants might be getting a bit bored now? It's another sack for Lawrence Taylor.
Notice he removed. He was kind enough to remove the headset, so he didn't get electrocuted.
3rd and 10 at midfield with 1:22 minutes left. Joe Morris hit from behind. Richard Johnson. Loss on the play for Joe. It'll be 4th down, and Landeta will come in and kick. The Oilers made the Giants get serious for a few moments today when they came back from a 14-0 deficit in less than a minute to score twice. And then turnovers and just general inexperienced play and the Giant dominance, particularly on defense.
That was a big play on a blitz by Gary Reasons. Came in and forced Warren Moon to fumble, and Lawrence Taylor was there, and that was it.
It was 21-14 Giants at the time, and Joe Morris scored a touchdown shortly after that turnover that you talk about. The Oilers had some opportunities in the second half, but couldn't knock the ball in when they had 1st and goal inside the 10. 29 seconds showing on the clock. Bill Parcells can relax. Look ahead to the Cowboys once he savors this. As he said, the Giants don't know how important this game is. Should be in another line of work. You can say the same thing about next week. Penalty markers fly, and Landeta kicks it. And another stoppage of play. Well, we want to thank those who played a role in the production of this game. Executive producer Terry O'Neill, senior producer Chuck Milton. Fine job all year by our producer John Ferratzis. Director's been Andy Kindle. Donna Miller, our associate producer. Brooks Graham and the rest. Happy birthday, by the way, to Brooks Graham. Marty Aronoff, our spotter. Roger Riley, our statistician. Fine job. Landeta kicking again. Fair catch. Called by Drury. 19 seconds to go. We want to thank everyone else. So the question in Houston is whether Hugh Campbell is going to be back as head coach. He'll be 5-9 after this game, and this is the last home game of the year.
Well, the feeling I get from being in practice the other day and talking to players that they hope he stays. They think it's just a matter of time, and with the young people that they have on the team, it almost looks like that would be the way.
Mike Morosky is now at quarterback. Warren Moon finished for the day with a few seconds left. Jamie Williams drops a pass wide open. Morosky, 7-year veteran, had been with Atlanta and picked up briefly by San Francisco this year.
San Francisco would have kept Mike Morosky. I'm sure Bill Walsh liked him a lot, but he just couldn't afford the luxury of 3 quarterbacks. Keep 2 quarterbacks, you have 3 tight ends. You keep, really basically, you keep 3 quarterbacks. You can only keep 2 tight ends.
Moon had a good day, despite the fact that he was in the hole, down 3 touchdowns going into the second half. One of the rare running plays. Butch Woolfolk up the middle. That's only the 7th rushing play by the Oilers today. That's the fewest of the season. Well, we have an NFL Today wrap-up show coming up with Brent Musburger. The final score here, the Giants 1 step closer to a playoff. They're tied with Dallas for the NFC East lead. The final score, 35-14 for Wayne Walker. This is Dick Stockton saying so long from Houston.
Dayton and catch up on the end of a game involving Tampa Bay and Minnesota. As you know, the Giants now are headed down to Dallas, tied for first in the NFC East. Seattle beats Cleveland, and so now the Browns and the Bengals are tied for first in the AFC Central Division. Cincinnati pounds the Dallas Cowboys, 50-24, the final in that game. Washington over Philadelphia, 17-12. The Redskins had to have that one. The Jets win to stay tied atop the AFC East. 27-7 was the final score there. St. Louis over New Orleans, 28-16 this afternoon. Miami, along with the Jets in New England, 34-24. The Dolphins beat the Green Bay Packers today. Kansas City pounds Atlanta, 38-10 was the final in that game. And the Chicago Bears snap back after losing to Miami on Monday night, 17-10 over the Indianapolis Colts in Chicago. And the New England Patriots, they're 10-4 like the other 2 leaders, 23-6. The Patriots a winner this afternoon. And a final just in this one. In overtime, the Raiders beat the Broncos. They have just kicked a field goal to win it. Update that one, make it 17-14. The Broncos fumbled. There were 3 punts in overtime, and then Chris Barr just nailed the field goal, and the Raiders in overtime beat the Broncos 17-14. Now,